philosophy, dropping them chapters like bombs on their ideology. Rational mail in his hand like a sword, every man in the chap in the calibrate. No more cap, no more simping, no more blue pill lies. We killing Fatty and Ali, tag team in the mic. SH on the switch, we taking the spike. Empire, untouchable movements, too strong from the south to the world. We ringing the gong, high energy slaughter. Friday 5 p.m. better pull up or get left. Super panel, ready for the smoke. We ain't playing games, no it ain't a joke. Super panel, ready for the smoke. Untouchable empire, leaving you broke. Super panel, are you ready? Untouchable.
The content presented on the following show is intended for satirical and educational purposes only. The views, opinions, and statements expressed by panelists and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the host, production team, or channel. Additionally, any third-party content featured in this program is used in compliance with fair use under United States copyright law, which allows for commentary, criticism, news report, teaching, and research. Viewer discretion is advised, and we encourage independent thought and discussion.
Welcome to the Untouchable Super Panel with Ilkan Ali and Fatty. Kick back, relax, and enjoy the show.
What you're seeing right now with the men is a response to your radicalization. So to try to project that onto us is absolutely ridiculous. And the men are not behaving the way they're behaving right now because they can't keep up. They're behaving the way they're behaving because you broke the social contract.
You're having a conversation in bad faith. Did you say women are children? Did you say women are children? No.
Look at the construction industry. It's 99%, 98% men. But when you're talking about cooking, right, the reason, and by the way, it wasn't mostly women who did cooking, it was just mostly women who stayed at home who did cooking. That's why it's considered a traditional family role. It's part of the whole child rearing aspect.
So you know that you're here because of your father? Because men determine the sex of the baby? Did you know that?
Can we just say, if we're doing men versus women, like, women have infinitely more options. If you download a dating app, like, even grandmas get like thousands of matches.
Right.
And I understand that, like, sexual attention isn't the same as relationship attention, but out of 1,000, one will take her seriously.
You wasn't putting it down mentally. You don't know how to touch her without touching her. You wasn't putting it down sexually, and you wasn't putting it down financially. So yes.
But these women literally get to walk out the house looking like it's Halloween every day, but want to look down on you and tell you how you look. Bitch, I look like my 8th grade picture. You don't look like your 8th day old picture. You go on a lot of these women Instagram pages, it look like 30 different on there. Somebody tell me I'm lying.
It's not that she's so awesome and intelligent and everybody missed out and you just so happen to walk up on a flower. Yeah. She's lying to you.
Right.
But these women saw you. When these women saw you, she already wanted you before you even open your mouth. Like Ali said, you didn't convince her to nothing. There's the male ego.
It's time to do.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Untouchable Super Panel. I hope y'all had a great weekend. Great week. It's been a crazy week as well, too. And I hope y'all have an even better weekend. We're going to try to bring you another phenomenal show that's raw and uncut. And so, panelists, please don't hold back today. Make sure y'all on your best behaviors, but also give us the truth as well, too. Shout out to the Untouchable chat. Shout out to the Untouchables, and shout out to the newcomers as well, too, man. Make yourself at home. If anybody's on the panel, I'm sure Fatty already told you, you are more than welcome to simulcast. We want y'all to build with us as well, too, okay? We're not trying to get in the way of your fans as well, too. So anybody that's on the panel can simul stream as well, too. So to start the show, we're going to welcome our Untouchable panel for today. Starting with the one and only legend, my brother Rollo Tomassi is in the building.
Now, after that introduction, like I need a suit like that
now. And then my sister, all the way from IG, making a lot of noise over there as well too, Mrs. Amanda.
Hey y'all, thanks for having me.
How you doing? And my sister AVG is in the building as well too. Does phenomenal debates all the time as well too. It's more than happy to have you with us.
Boo.
And then the Mr. Chosen himself is in the building as well. That's the ladies' man sitting right in front of you. Mr. Chosen is in the building. Well, how you doing, my brother Jonathan?
Fantastic, great to be here.
Sorry, Jonathan, we missed you here.
I know.
And then our sister Ghosty, she did not come to play with anybody. She does not play, so you gotta watch out for our sister Ghosty as well too. And then the other legend, the other side of the untouchable, my co-host, the one and only, my brother Team Fatty is in the building.
You don't get to ask those questions.
And by the way, Rollo, we tried to incorporate a little bit of guitar on the intro today. We failed miserably, but I think we tried at least. So once again, friends, thank you very much for being here. And of course, the host of the show, his beard is back. So friends, don't.
Oh, 1 week.
in 1 week.
It took 1 week to grow it back. I told you.
Build it. Friends, I have a couple of questions for y'all as icebreaker. This is kind of a mixed panel with some red pill people and some people that clearly don't agree with that ideology, okay? So my first question, okay, or my first statement, and I want Rollo to start, and then the rest of the panel to kind of give their opinions. Women don't care about right or wrong. Women care about winners and losers, okay? I'm going to repeat this again. Women don't care about what's right or wrong. Women care about winners and losers. What do you think about this, Rollo? And then if you disagree with him, go after.
It's time to do.
Well, first off, that's a bastardization of something that Rich Cooper said one time. So it's not about right or wrong or good people, bad people kind of thing. Rich Cooper has been known as saying that women don't care about men's struggles, that they wait at the finish line and they bang the winners. That's really where that comes from. So it's not necessarily some sort of like red pill idiom or something like that. That's the thing is a lot of this stuff gets bastardized. People will hear it like third hand, and then they'll say, "Oh, I heard you said this," or something like that. And it's like, no, thank you for bringing this up, but it's just really meant to say that there's I'm on record as saying that I only like halfway agree with that. I have a couple of posts on my Rational Male blog where I understand the sentiment of it, especially the part where it's the not caring about the struggles, but it's really more about results. And looking at a guy as sort of like a turnkey relationship, like just stepping into a relationship kind of thing. But I've said, well, in a couple of essays anyways, I've written about how I think that's incomplete, because there's a lot of times where women will get with a guy and the guy doesn't have a lot of money, but she can see a lot of potential in that guy. So it's almost like she's getting in before he's a winner. Like she's saying, she's making a bet, right? She's saying, okay, this guy is going to be a winner later on. So I know I'm 25 and I know he's 25 or he's 26 or 28 or something like that. And he hasn't made much of himself yet, but I can see that he has the talent. I see that he has the drive, and I see he has potential. And then, so the idea is not so much not caring about struggles, but also about making a bet on that guy's future and their collective future as well. So rather than, waiting at the finish line and banging the winners, she's already in the car as he passes the finish line. You see what I mean? So the idea, I think, when we get into, I think a lot of people want to turn the red pill into an ideology, and it's not really an ideology. It's what I've called praxeology, and so it's not really a system of belief. It's not about good or bad, or it's not about evil or whatever. It's not a system of values. It's just a system of information. And I know it's easy to get that confused these days because there's a lot of people who are just some bad actors out there who've just decided that they're going to take the most extreme examples and just sort of amp them up to absurdity and make a lot of money off of those things. Like, for instance, if you look at the most recent Manosphere debacle, really the documentary that Louis Theroux did, he went and specifically looked for the most outrageous people that he could put up as sort of caricatures of what he wanted people to believe is the manosphere, right? So right now, this is a good example of that. This is just basically a bastardization of sort of this jingoism, I guess, or idiom that people hear and then they lock onto that. And there's a lot of them too. That's just one of many. So is there anything in particular you wanted me to talk about?
No. I just wanted, it's because it's an icebreaker. I just want just a sentiment about that quote. Let me hear from Amanda. Okay, Amanda. Women don't care about winners and losers. They don't care about what's right or wrong. They care about winners and losers. Like, what do you think about that statement?
For me, it's like super generalized and broad. So when I think about this statement, I think about safety, how women naturally want to feel safe. I think people want to feel safe. But I think the thing about women is they externalize a lot of their safety, especially in seeking men who are winners, right? They have it all together. They have the finances, their infrastructure is taken care of. So she feels taken care of. So I just really think that it's more safety related. And when we're not connected to our own inner masculine, right? The idea that like I'm stable on my own, I can stand in my own, I don't need someone, right? I think that that's where we step into kind of like the winners versus losers. Like, I need you to save me because I can't save myself.
You think, just a follow-up question real quick. You think women that have it all or have a lot of the things that they actually desired and they are in the safe position don't want winners too? Do you think they will prioritize right over winning?
I don't think it has to be like either or. I think it could be both and. And when I think about right or wrong, I think about like values and character. So
Sure.
I think that a well-rounded whole being is looking for both someone with values, someone who, like I said, has character. They know the difference between right or wrong. They agree with what's right or wrong, right? Because what's right to me isn't necessarily what's right to you. It's not like an absolute. It's kind of like a spectrum, is how I see it. And then they also want someone, and when we say winners and losers, I mean, like, we could even get a little deeper on that. Like, what do you mean by winners and losers? Because that's also subjective. But I think that we all kind of would lean into wanting someone who is both right and a winner. I think that's a natural like inclination. I don't know if I answered your question.
Thank you very much. Let me get Jonathan over here. Jonathan, what do you think about the statement?
I think it's a really good question, but I have to defer to this idea that I think it's age dependent. I think a lot of it has to do with how naive a woman is and at what age or what stage of life she finds herself in. Amanda, bless her soul, remarked that women want to feel safe. And I think women that have been hurt want to feel safe. I think 16, 18, 20-year-old. I lost out on a lot of girls that I chased in college because I wasn't a badass and I didn't treat women like shit. And it seemed like those men scooped up all the girls. They were the must-have guy. And maybe I'm a Sigma, so I'm not the alpha leader. Like I could care less about people in that regard. So I chart my own path. But I think early on in a woman's, say, courtship history, 20s, early 20s, they don't want safety. They have desire. And I think they get hurt by those guys. And then when they do get hurt, that's when they flip the script and they say, yeah, I want safety, which is good. And I think it's just a learning experience. But so I think early on in age, women aren't necessarily picking winners, losers, right or wrong. But I think it depends on to what degree they're hurt over time. And then that's when they become more discerning with their choices. So
Can I ask him a question, Fatty?
Absolutely.
You said they looked over you for the guys that treated them like garbage, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Should you care about them? Should they have deserved to get treated like that? If they looked over the guy that was a good guy, if they looked over the guy that would appreciate him and value them and done for them, isn't that what they probably deserve?
Well, I mean, maybe Rollo would have some advice on this, because it's like growing up as young men, we're taught to respect women and treat them kindly. So you do that all throughout college and you get passed over, right? And then the guy who, goes to the club, cheats on girls. I took a girl out for her birthday. I'll never forget this. This is my second year of college. I was head over heels for this girl. She was pretty. I knew her from freshman. We were in the same college, in the same dorm, and we started dating. And I took her out for dinner on her birthday, went to the bar afterwards. We went our separate ways because I was going out with a bunch of guys. Anyway, she said, I was like, and this is back in the day when there's no cell phones. So 11:30 rolls around and I'm like, I'm just going to go swing by her house and link back up at the end of the night. Maybe it was 12 o'clock or something like that. Well, she wasn't alone. She was with this other guy that she'd been chasing the entire time. She broke my heart because I found her in bed with another guy. It crushed me. And this guy was just an asshole, right? And so I'm like, wait, so I take you out for this beautiful birthday dinner and then you go cheat on me that same night. So it was heartbreaking. And so I don't really know what to say to young men, to raise them up to respect women and treat them kindly. I definitely say that. Like, I'll always teach young men that. But then when they're tugging at me saying, Dad, why do I keep getting passed over? It's sorry, son, young girls aren't looking for safety. At least not now. They need to be hurt a few times until they do.
So Rollo, is he describing the alpha,
sure.
the alpha fucks beta bucks situation you're talking about, or is more precise than that?
In it, loosely put it that way. What he's really talking about is what I've referred to as woman's party years, really, but really other people will call it her hoe phase, right?
I refrained from using that term.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say it.
No, I know you didn't say it. I was like, we're on the same level in the sense that, we go through this experimentation.
Because I can remember one time I was on Adam Sosnick's show one time, and Adam is going around because we have a panel of girls that are on the show, right? And he's going around the girls and he's talking to these girls and he's saying, are you thinking about getting married, right? And he goes to around the horn here, and I hate to say it, Amy Dangerfield was actually on that show too, but he's going around, and I'd say probably about 2/3 of them were saying, yeah, I really want to get married. And then he would get to like the ones who are about 23 years old, and they're like, hell no, I'm not even thinking about that. And they really came down on these girls. And I stopped Adam and I said, hey, look, I said, this girl's 23. It's not even in her head right now that she wants to have anything long term. She's like still, she's at the in her prime. She's hitting her stride right now at 23 years old. She has such selectivity at this age. She's not thinking about anything long term, right? And so from what you're talking about, when women tend to be between the ages of, say, about 18 and 28 years old, depending on that woman's sort of socioeconomic position and her background, of course, but by and large, between 18 and 28 is when women are going to be at their peak of sexual selectivity, right? So they're trying to see, we call it being prudent, but she's basically dating around and seeing what's available, right? Until you get to be about 28, 29, 30 years old, and that's when the chips come down, and it's like, okay, I need to find a guy, and that's when security, long-term security, becomes more pressing. And so while she's still looking for a good-looking guy, a hot guy, she's still looking for a guy who has benefits too, a guy who's made, a guy who's like going somewhere, has some potential as well. And the reason for that, I think one of the biggest reasons we have like a gender divide at this point is is because we're on the 4th generation and coming into the 5th generation of women who have been essentially told from the time they're 5 years old that men are inherently untrustworthy and they can't be trusted to provide your long-term security or to be a good father because they're absentee dads or they're never around or something like that. And you either have Homer Simpson, the abuser, or the guy who's just incompetent. And that's what they get to select from. So now that means I've got to go and if you're a young woman, you've got to go and provide for yourself. You got to get a degree. You got to go and make your own money. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but the impetus for that comes from a need for a long-term security after a while. And the problem I think is happening right now is like so many women have been so good at that, like home ownership and getting into the workforce and making more money. That men have, and I said this on Dr. Phil, that men have become essentially superfluous. So if she can provide for all of those long-term security needs on her own, then what does she need guys for? And the answer is she's looking for a guy who's fun in bed, who's a good time. Maybe he's looking for the bad boy, right, at that point. But the thing is that woman has not been able to find that guy, or as she gets older, she's less and less able to do so. But the long and the short of it is that there's a long-term security need for women that is really kind of an evolved, part of, our evolutionary past, that women are the vulnerable sex. I would say they're weaker sex, but they're the vulnerable sex because they are the incubators of the next generation, right? They're the only ones that can give birth. So if you look in our ancestral past, you're looking at women who have been in some various stages from the time they were, hit puberty or maturity, either pregnant or carrying a child or nursing a child for a very long time. Now we're finally at a point in human history where that can be an option. But the drive for that security, the drive for the need for the guy who can provide all that. Now you're looking at guys who have to live up to the expectation of not only being able to outclass her in her own ability to supply her own long-term security, but he has to match that and exceed that beyond that. So that's when we're talking, like we were just talking before, like the guy who's the winner and they're waiting at the finish line for that guy. I think only very select women can do that. But more so, I think women are looking for guys who are going to be this this guy who's going to make something of himself in the future. Maybe by the time he hits 35 or 36 years old, he made law. He's a partner in the law firm, or he's made a surgeon. He's in his residency, and all that kind of stuff. The problem is those guys are few and far between, because now guys are just like, why even bother, right? The juice isn't worth the squeeze, so why would I go and cater my life around worrying what a woman thinks about me? And so the guys that could provide security, the guys who could be good dads, the guys who could be good long-term choices for them are fewer and much further between. So, and I see my friend Michael has decided to join us.
How you doing, my brother Michael? How you doing?
What's going on, man? This is awesome.
Michael
I just woke up. I got
Vegas.
some caffeine. And Rollo said he was joining a Royal Rumble. So I was like, okay, let's do it. I'm trying to learn how to stream. You guys can teach me how to stream.
Of course. Yeah, just stick with us.
I'm trying to teach you, man.
I'm trying to teach you.
My sister Ghosty, do women really operating off of winners and losers? Do they actually care about the man being righteous or not, or are they truly operating off of winners and losers in relationships?
So kind of like what Jonathan said, first, I think it's way too broad of a statement. I think a lot of it has to do with where a woman is at in her life. So a woman in her late 20s or early 30s has less of a tolerance for men that are just fucking around, and also less time to wait on a guy, whereas younger women, if she does see something in him, she has more time to see if he's going to go somewhere and get somewhere. And there is that part of it too, where younger people really aren't looking to settle down generally. And I think it works the same way kind of for women too. At least from my experience, there were a lot of guys who, they were more attracted to the baddie girls who are louder and going out and very attractive, and the quieter, shy, like typical good girls were often getting passed over or overlooked, or maybe it's just because they were shy, and I don't know. But even guys who these girls were way out of their league, but they didn't want a regular girl. They wanted a super hot chick, even though he was super fat and these women were way out of his league, but he didn't want to go to prom with just like a regular, girl. So I think that happens for both younger men and women. But yeah, I think it has to do with more where a woman is at in her life.
So just like a little question for you two. If most of these women we understand have discernment all of a sudden, and all of a sudden they've healed, and now they're looking to have less sex and be more intentional with sex, and they're looking for a good guy. Why do they deserve this good guy if that's all most of them have worked on? Like they go to church, they get baptized, but they never advertise what exactly is this good guy going to get that the last guy didn't get as well too. So why should a good guy take a chance on the woman who didn't respect them initially, and now she just has discernment? You know what? I'm going to pick better. I've gotten older, I've gotten more mature, and I got to look for somebody to settle down with. It's not really someone I want to love more. Like, why should a good guy settle down if all a woman did was heal and found discernment on how to pick better, and the guy who has a future?
You asking me a role? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, Miss Ghosty.
Go ahead, Ghosty. Sorry.
I would say she probably has to prove herself to that guy, right? Like, I'm not saying that, like, nobody really deserves anything or anyone automatically. You have to prove yourself to somebody. So I don't know if he's willing to oversee her past, and she proves herself to him that she's going to be a good person, be committed to him, give him like what he needs, then I like that's up to him, right?
Okay. See, I kind of disagree that she has to prove herself. Every woman on the planet is wanted by someone. They don't have to compete from the looks factor. If she's a 5, a 3, a 10, there's always going to be a suitor who's trying to pursue her wherever she lands on that scale of attractiveness. Men, on the other hand, excuse me, we all know we need to be 6'2", which I am, make 100K. We don't have that. So it's not about deserving or proving or anything. They don't have to do anything. They just have to start selecting. So there's always going to be someone lined up, no matter where they fall on that attractiveness scale. Yeah, so they don't have to prove anything. God, I wish that they just get to make a choice.
So this is great, and I know where Rollo's thinking too. We're having two different discussions. What Mr. Chosen says is correct, but what it's different from the question that Ali over here is asking. What he's asking is, what do they do to deserve? And Mr. Chosen is correct. It doesn't matter if they don't do shit. We have a simp economy right now. OnlyFans made $7 billion. There are men willing to take every single woman that's out there. You're absolutely right. But you're also asking a separate question. What if I'm a high status man and the only thing what I want is peace? I want a woman who's going to help me build my empire. And I have a lot of women to choose from. And I have this one woman who's younger, who has less emotional baggage, or I have another woman who's older, who's like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I did porn for a while, but I got absolution from God. It's time for me. I've turned my life around. I have friends that are like that, and I love them very much. I just don't want to marry them. I don't want to get into relationships with them. They have incredible self-worth. If a woman was a cardiologist and saved my daughter's life, she has unbelievable value to the world, but it doesn't make me want to have sex with her. That's the difference. And so in this situation, what we're talking about is, both of you are correct. It's just you're talking about two different things. What should be, which is what Ali is talking about, and then what is, which is what Mr. Chosen is talking about. Both things are true. If you let a girl go, trust me, she'll find somebody else. There's so many people out there. The problem is the men that she wants, the girl who's a 3, the man she wants is an 8. And she can probably have sex with him. And because she does have sex with him, she thinks that's what she deserves. And because she believes that's what she deserves, from the point forward, any guy who's a 7, a 6, or a 5 who wants to date the 3, she doesn't think that these men are worth her time. And that's where we get into this problem of the highest levels of people not in relationships, not married, and not having children. That's part of where that comes from.
Can I just say one thing about that? Just 1 second. Yes. Let's get Jonathan and Rollo. Amanda was doing faces, so I need to understand why she was doing those faces. Okay, don't forget about that, Amanda. Okay, Rollo.
This is just my face, man.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Rollo and Jonathan, and shout out to Batman for the $50 cash app. We appreciate you. Okay, thank you very much.
I just had something really quick. Go ahead, Rollo.
Well, I just want to throw out, because the original question was about what I have referred to as the epiphany phase. And that's when women get to be about 29, 30, 31 years old. And that's when they want to get right with God, right? It's like, okay, I'm done with the bad boys. I'm done. I've had my fun. It's time to get serious. No fun for you. And they tend to reacquaint themselves with the church or whatever. They want to live, they want to turn over a new leaf, do things the right way. And it's at that point where they're, as I said before, I think that's when they transition into wanting to get a guy who is, cads and dads. Now they're looking for the dad. Now they're looking for the guy who's the better long-term option for that. Well, where do I find those guys? Well, you're going to find them in church, or they're going to be more, they're not going to be the fun roller coaster helicopter pilot that you used to have back when you were in, the 23 and, the foam cannon party in Cancun, right? You're looking for a guy who's not like that, because guys are not good bets for the future, right? Those guys are not going to be there to commit. And so now the guy who didn't look quite so good before is suddenly made something of himself, and she's hoping that guy is going to be a good bet for her future, and he's going to be much more secure. The problem is that guy is never going to be as exciting as the guys that she's had in her past. So when that woman gets to church or whatever, or she starts making this guy sort of abide by and follow these rules. I'm going to set these rules, mister. I don't want you to think I'm easy, even though she was having fun in the spring break and the Cancun and the foam cannon party, right? So the problem with that becomes is that guy is now paying a higher premium than the guy that actually had to pay nothing about it, or wasn't even an afterthought back when she was 23 and in college. So that's where a lot of the guys are kind of like going, I don't think this is such a great deal anymore. And I think that's kind of like what you were trying to describe there. But now we've added the element of God to it. So if we do that and say, well, I'm forgiven, the Lord forgives me, why can't you forgive me? And so now, and if you don't, then how can you call yourself sort of a practicing Christian? And then on top of that, it's the instant mulligan, right? It's the you get a do-over. And if that ain't the case, then he's not the right guy for you. So that guy, if he's not a good provider, if he's not somebody that's going to sort of be there for the long haul, like I said, where are you going to find that guy? He's going to be in church. Now, people will ask me this. They'll say, Rollo, don't you think that women can be sincere in their beliefs and they want to really, get themselves right and they'll fly the straight and narrow? And I said, yes, absolutely. I think that if you put these women on a polygraph test and they would pass it. You ask them, do you actually believe this? They would say yes. My problem is not the sincerity. My problem is the timing. So that's
before, hey, Jonathan,
all that straight out of my second book, by the way.
You're not going to get away from my hook real quick, right? But it's very interesting. You said those women shouldn't have to prove anything, just like the men that those women like didn't have to prove anything. So then should the men only deal with the women they don't have to prove anything to? They just not like them?
Is that a question for me?
Oh, yes, because so if we turn this around and asked about men who our daughters would meet, I'm sure you would say that man would have to prove something to be with our daughters. But hold on real quick. But you said that she shouldn't have to prove anything after she broke a good man's heart to go for the so-called bad guy. Now, when you get to this woman, I asked Ghosty, which she gave a more intentional answer of this woman needs to prove something. That was a great answer from Ghosty. You turned right back around and said he doesn't have to prove anything. So what's interesting is most of the guys that the women chasing don't have to prove anything, and they'll still allow their hearts to get broken with this guy, right? So should men do the same thing? Should a man not give a damn, not care, not have to prove anything, and whoever likes him, that's who you should deal with?
Ali, I will not disagree with you. I think in an ideal world, we should all be proving equally, men and women, or all not be proving equally, men and women. I think the reality of the landscape is that women operate from a position where they're pursued. And I think like even in the intro clip of this video of of the stream, there's that girl saying, the 77-year-old woman is going to have, 100 people lining up to want to swipe right on her, right? So I think in an ideal situation, we would all be proving, we would all be putting our best foot forward. We'd all be trying to be the best version of ourselves to get that person that we're interested in. I just think the way the stars align, women don't need to do that, and men obviously have to. The only thing I wanted to challenge Michael on, and I hope this doesn't get too spicy, is just this notion that once a woman goes through the OnlyFans ringer and now she turns her life around, I wanted to caution that that's kind of like really a dialogue now, especially because the OnlyFans world, and you see it all over X. You could barely open it up where some girl says, you know, like she's made millions of dollars and now she's turning her life around. Love the cat. The problem with Michael, I wish he had kept that to himself, because I think it sends the wrong message to women, mostly in regard to, there's a woman who, and back in my day, it was strippers. Like, girls could strip to make money. They didn't have OnlyFans. But the issue now is, you know, if a woman does OnlyFans, or if she stripped in the past or done porn, does this make her untouchable now?
Hey, hold on. You can't associate.
No, but he said
untouchable empire, baby.
That's not what I said.
But at least
that's not what I said.
Finish. I'm gonna land the plane, and then you can take over. It was just the vibe that I got when he was saying that.
Yeah.
So whether he meant it or not, I'm just saying it's the vibe I got, and I just don't think that that's a good message to women out there. And Rollo brought up the term forgiveness, and guys, I think what we all need to do is what a man or woman does. There's 2 points I'm going to make here. What a man or woman does, we've got to differentiate behavior from identity. So someone could still be a good person and do OnlyFans. Hang on, Ali, I know your wheels are spinning. You got to let me land.
We at the bar right now. You swung at my brother Michael. I want to swing back because that's my best friend.
I'll
right
give you
now.
all the opportunity in a second. I just got a second point to make, though. We've got to be able to forgive behavior, but people are inherently good people. So even that girl that went out to do OnlyFans, she was making the best decision for herself to try and earn a living, whatever it is. She wants a Lambo too. Just, I know tons of 18-year-old boys that want Lambos and will do anything to get a Lambo. She made a decision. It wasn't the best one. We don't need to shame her for it. And Michael, I'm not saying you were trying to shame. It was just a vibe I got. But what I'm saying is that we've got to look beyond behavior when we see people. And this is the second point I was going to make, is that when we decide that doing OnlyFans kind of excludes you from the dating pool, or you're no longer, you know, a high value person, the risk is that we've all collectively decided that you can't recover if you've done OnlyFans. But yet you can recover if you used to do lines of cocaine when you were 23 in college. And now you've turned your life around, and okay, now you could be trustworthy. Maybe you can coach Little League and stuff like that. You know, you're a former drug addict. So we've decided that one set of behavior is quote unquote forgivable, but this other one where we collectively had said no is not forgivable. I am not condoning OnlyFans. I don't support OnlyFans. I think we should send messages to young girls out there saying there's better ways. I think we should shut OnlyFans down, by the way. But I just want to make sure that we don't shame those girls that made that poor choice. And we do want to encourage them and say, you know what, there is a better life out there for you. You always were, and you still are a good person. You just, didn't perhaps make the best choice. I was just going to say that it was a vibe I got from Michael. I'm not saying that you were trying to shame them or anything. It was just the vibe I got. So.
You've never seen our show.
Yeah, you've never seen our show. I have dated too many playmates. I have dated too many girls who were in Playboy. I've dated too many girls that I used to manage a strip club. I am in no way judging them. I am an oncologist describing the cancer to you. And I'm not even calling it cancer. Cancer is actually bad because cancer sounds like it's evil. I'm just a better explanation. We're going on the football pitch, and I'm the referee describing the rules of the game to you. That's all I'm doing. I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but I am describing it. I am in no way, trust me. And by the way, there was a massive distinction we need to make. There's a big difference between guy-girl pornography and a girl who posts bikini pictures on OnlyFans. Massive difference between the two. I don't have any, I know a girl right now that I used to date, and she had 3 million followers on Instagram. And then she started posting the same photos from Instagram on OnlyFans and was making $30,000 a month from doing that. That is completely different than a woman who on a weekly basis is choosing a different actor to have sex with and then wants to get into a committed relationship. Those are two completely different things. The second thing is, there's nothing, we say forgiveness, these are two different things. If I have a guy who's committed several different felonies, he's robbed a lot of people, he comes to the church and asks for absolution, I can absolutely respect the fact that the church gives him absolution. I also don't need to go into business with him. Those are two different things. I absolutely positively have no trouble whatsoever. Some of my best friends are girls. I live in Las Vegas. I have female friends here who are sugar babies, whatever. That is never an issue for me. But it doesn't mean that I now, what I'm saying is, you know how you have the Ken doll and it comes with the Corvette and all the little accessories. Just because you get the absolution, dating the high status man doesn't come. It's not an accessory that comes along with it, right? You can have a wonderful life, receive absolution from God, live in the church, and do incredible works, and still understand that maybe a bunch of high status men aren't going to choose you. And I only mean high status men because men in general will choose you. What you said before is absolutely true. They don't need the church's forgiveness. There are men lined up by the millions to date any one of these women. You're absolutely correct. You can just look at dating app data. Women on average get about 17 times as many matches as men do. The top 10% of men get the same number of matches as the average woman. That's how skewed it is. So one of the things is what we can prescribe for being right and wrong. And the other thing is us describing the actual world that we live in, right? The tiger kills the gazelle. Is that right? Is that wrong? No. Who knows? But it is true. And what is true is the fact that there's several pieces of data from the IFS and the GSS showing that for men and women, if you have more sexual partners before you're married, you're more likely to be unhappy in a relationship. You're more likely to cheat. That's just the truth. That is just the truth. It's not a function of right or wrong. And if I had a decision, and my decision was I could choose between a girl who maybe, took some pictures in bikinis because she was a runway model or because she was a fitness model, and she posted on her OnlyFans, versus a girl who did hardcore pornography and was an escort for a while. There's a massive difference between those two things. And I can still be friends with the second girl, go to her wedding, her baby shower, maybe even introduce her to the guy that she ends up marrying. But I don't want to marry her. That's the difference. I don't come with the Ken doll. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. It's still, but still in the sound bites though, you have to agree with me that when you say I would never marry a woman who had done OnlyFans, there are going to be young men out there.
No, I would never marry a woman who'd done pornography. That's different from OnlyFans. Not, yeah. But hold, Chosen. Can everybody stop what you're doing? Everyone, you're stopping. He just conflated hardcore guy-girl pornography.
I didn't mean to.
You guys understand?
I literally just apologized.
Yeah.
I literally just ate my words there.
Yeah.
So.
No, but God.
Ali,
go ahead, Fad.
Just real quick. Jonathan said this. I don't want y'all to judge them. I just want to take their livelihood away. Which one do you think is worse, Jonathan?
Right? I know that confused me too.
$millions of these women, or just shame them and let them make their
Yes, and God was helping us too. God forgives, but we don't, Jonathan, and society doesn't either. It's like you telling a man that if he touched a kid, if he raped a woman, if he committed atrocities towards society, and he's a gay man, that there's a princess waiting for you at the end of the tunnel. That'd be very misleading, Jonathan. Just like telling a woman if she's tucking 1,000 body, hold on, Jonathan, and he should get shamed as well too. There's things that's not redeemable, and that's the problem with society, Jonathan, especially our women. And what my brother Rollo Tomassi said earlier is that women are told their whole lives that they can get away with almost anything, and now you're saying, you know what, let's add some more to that. If you do OnlyFans and you're a porn star, there's a prince still waiting for you, and you should be redeemable. That's very misleading, and that
Michael just said that.
Hold on. That's very misleading. And you're not fine with sending our daughters and women into burning houses, but you're fine with sending our sons. And that's the problem that I have. In order to have these fruitful, healthy relationships, it has to benefit our sons as well too. So after the good guy got played, which I made sure I made that note first, you got played. One, you don't forgive either. You're not dating no porn star, and you're not dating no woman who's OnlyFans. So why encourage another man to forgive him if you wouldn't forgive him? And number two, Jonathan, if she committed those atrocities of looking over a good man, and now all of a sudden she went to church and healed, and she still isn't saying what she provides for a man or what she can do for a man, and doesn't have to prove her worth, she should definitely still be shamed, and she should still be left on the market for a guy to continue to mistreat her. She should go right back to the guy who's already mistreating her, or bring something to the table for that good man to treat you good. Jonathan, you got the floor, my brother.
I have a question. I have a question. What is productive about shaming someone?
That's my point.
What's the importance of that? How does that help anything?
make them stop in bad behavior. And friends, if I drop, somebody pick up the pace because my internet connection.
I got you, my brother.
Okay. If I steal something, and I did when I was younger, and my parents catch me and shame me, and my friends shame me, and my teacher shame me, I wouldn't steal again. This is things that happen in life that you should actually feel remorse.
Is that what happened?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so if all it took to change behavior was to shame someone, why are there so many atrocities in the world if we're already shaming people?
Because some people are shameless, and now with social media, people cannot just be shamed by the village. They can change school, change job, change country. So they still shamed on their region. They just go to the group that is not shaming them. Before social media, if you were shamed by your village, you are going to be called a hoe. You are going to be called a thief. So you add incentives to not be known as the drunk in the village. Now you can stop being drunk in Las Vegas and go be drunk in New York. So
is that shameless or shame-based? So if it's shameless, I don't have to change locations. I don't have to change playgrounds and playmates. I can just let it all hang out. Shame-based would be now I have to hide and go do it somewhere else so no one can see me. So both ends of the spectrum are wildly toxic, not only for the individual, but for our society and our culture. So my opinion, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, finish your thought.
My opinion would be that the reason that we're in the state that we are is because we shame people. That's why there's so many people in hiding doing things like going on OnlyFans, having, porn addictions, sex addictions, alcohol addictions, food addictions. But people do this in private. It's not out there for everyone to see, because if it is, I'm shamed for it. So people are less likely to get help. They're less likely to change their behavior. They just rather do it in private where they're not being shamed publicly. That's one of our biggest fears is fear of public disgrace. That's what creates shame. That's what creates the behavior of sleeping around with so many men and doing it privately and definitely not telling anybody about it. You think that every woman you meet has fully been honest about her partners, right? Of course not.
Why? No, but on TikTok, they're constantly being they're being praised for this. I'm stunned right now. You don't think that you think women are on TikTok being shamed? That is crazy. They're on if I made a video right now talking about shaming women, my TikTok would be removed immediately. Women are on there talking, bragging. They're literally bragging. They're running around. Again, I agree with you that we shouldn't shame people. That's not what I'm saying. My point is the idea that you think that people are having more sex because they're being shamed, that doesn't make sense evolutionarily, mathematically, scientific. No. It is what's happened is that floor of shame that used to exist in the village. What he said, it doesn't exist anymore. It's Amber Rose. It's Bonnie Blue. Dude. I go to the AVN Awards every year. I walk because it's right next to my apartment. I go hang out there. When I'm at the AVN, there's porn stars and they have security guards walking with them and everyone's taking their picture. And these women think they're A-list celebrities. No one is being shamed for sleeping with thousands of men. The idea that it's more shame that's causing this? No, there is no shame. Again, guys, and I voted for him. A man fucked a porn star while his wife was pregnant, got convicted on 33 felonies, and he's president of the United States. And you think people are being shamed? No one is being shamed. Caitlyn Jenner ran over someone, killed them, ran over a second person, was named Woman of the Year 4 months later. No one is shamed for shit. Dude, Jordan Belfort, in a movie they make about him, he punches his wife in the stomach. He fucking kidnaps his own kid, and they make a movie, and he is now the most famous sales trainer in the world. No one is shamed for anything they do. That's why we are where we are. It's not because of shame. Shame does have a benefit. It's gone now. It doesn't matter. The floor is gone. Any of you guys can do anything you want. And here's the thing. If somebody is touching kids, you need to call them out for doing that. When you do it, they don't touch kids anymore. That's how it works. That's how it used to work. But it doesn't work like that anymore. Nobody pays for shit. Kim Kardashian was like sitting there making a sex tape, and she is now the face of prison reform in the United States. I talked to O.J. Simpson right a couple months before he died, and he was offered millions of dollars to host a fantasy football podcast. Millions of dollars, and he stabbed his wife in the neck 56 times. It is crazy. Nobody's shamed for anything.
No, Your Honor, he was innocent.
Allegedly.
He was innocent. He didn't do that. Let's stop this right now,
Don't
okay?
get to ask those questions.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that, Michael. Let's not do that. Let me just say something before I bring AVG and Jacoby about the question, and Amanda, right? My name is Fatty, right? That's my name for a reason. You probably guessed, right?
Shame.
Do you think what would work more for me to go back to the gym and for me to get in shape? For people to say, Fatty, it's not okay for you to carry yourself like that. You better stop doing that. You better, or get some Twinkies, Fatty. Body positivity, Fatty. You can do it. Embrace your curves. No shame, Fatty. Like, what do you think actually would work better for me to stay on this planet for more 4 decades and take care of my family, take care of my friends and all that, or die at 41 by a heart attack because I wasn't shamed for? What do you think actually works better, Amanda? Just real quick.
I think it would depend on what you're motivated by. So are you motivated by
I want to be alive. I just want to be alive.
Well, that's a
I don't
different
wanna
that's
die
an
today.
that's an internal motivation, right?
there's
So
this-
are we being motivated internally
Amanda,
or
one second, just Amanda. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
It's okay.
Uh-oh.
He dropped.
Guess not.
He was speaking too many facts, and they just got rid of him.
While he's gone, let me see if I can interject something here, because I think, Amanda, I think there's a sort of a semantic difference between like shame and like when people say, don't, like, ever had these conversations with girlfriends and go, don't judge me, but, and then they tell you something that you should absolutely be judging them for, right? Okay, so if right now I think that there's this sort of, I don't know, social, it's kind of woven into our social fabric about like, well, we're not supposed to be judgmental. God forbid we be judgmental of anybody. But quite honestly, I think in some cases we need to be a little bit more judgmental, at least for the benefit of the person that's, you know, engaging in the things that they don't want to be judged for, right? So there's a difference, I think, between being judgmental and like sort of being shamed. So it's not like, you know, like people are walking around the block, you know, in frocks and a bell going, shame, shame. That, like I was saying, Mike was saying that before, I don't think that works anymore, simply because we are in a global society right now. It might have worked at the local level way back in the day when we're talking about, like, you know, there's a few thousand people in a town or a tribe or something like that. Shame actually worked. But the reason why we're still talking about this right now, the shame, the whole issue, is because it worked. We wouldn't be talking about it today in 2026 if it hadn't worked in the past. We're still going, should we be shaming people? Should we not be shaming people? And the Fatty was just saying a moment ago, if he's going to the gym, like when I'm at the gym and I see some guy who's in there, if I see Big Mo from Fish and Fit in there, I am not shaming Mo whatsoever. I'm encouraging him. Go, bro. Get on there. Go do it, right? I don't laugh at guys who are they know that they have to go and make an effort. At least they're there, right? Which is more than I can say for a lot of the other people, right? But so there's not that, but I'm not judging the guy, but I also have to tell him the truth, which is, dude, if you don't lose weight, your heart is going to go out. And I don't want to see that because I love Big Mo like a brother, right? I don't want to see you live a shorter life. And so, but here's the thing, is if I say that, now I'm talking about, you know, obesity at this point. We can take it and talk about like promiscuity, or we can take it in drug abuse or heroin or alcoholism or whatever. You can apply it to anything. But if I don't go in and make an intervention or I don't bring it up, right? You could, then nothing's going to change. That guy's never going to, you know, be going, gosh, maybe I should, right? But the problem is I think we conflate that concern and that ability to just say, hey, look, I think you ought to be doing something different with your life, right? Then we turn that into judgmentalism, and then we turn that into shame, when in fact it's sometimes it's tough love, man. Sometimes you got to kick a dude in the ass. Sometimes you got to tell your girlfriend, you know what?
I agree with you.
Right.
I agree with you. And what you're sharing, you know, seeing this friend who's overweight, you want him to get in shape. You're sharing your feelings and your observations. I'm not saying that that's shaming. Shaming is you're a bad person for what you're doing. Shame is also an emotion that the individual experiences inside based on their perception of really themselves and being prematurely exposed. So I'm not saying that we don't have conversations with people about their behavior. I'm not saying there shouldn't be consequences for behavior. I'm just saying to shame someone into shifting their behavior isn't effective, as evidenced by most of the world who's unhealthy, disconnected. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so you just mentioned that shame is an emotion, or I guess it would be shame is an emotion, or it would be it was something else. So let's analyze emotion just for a minute. What is emotion? I can change your emotion right now by giving you 2 shots of tequila. I can change Mike's emotion by giving him, let's see, one milliliter of Tren right now. I can change. So emotions are not magic. Okay, let's just look at it. It's not some pixie dust that comes out of the sky, right? Emotions are the way that human beings have evolved to sort of. It's one process that we use to interpret our surroundings, right? So if you're in a fight or flight situation and you get that squeeze, that shot of adrenaline to get away from the saber-toothed tiger, it's either fear or anger, right? You're gonna fight or you're gonna run. So emotions themselves are useful because what they're meant to do is they're meant to prompt you to move from one unsustainable position into another sustainable position. So while shame might be an uncomfortable thing, so is anxiety, so is depression, right? And what are those meant to do? To move you from an unsustainable state into a hopefully more sustainable state. If you're doing it constructively rather than destructively, right? Same thing with happiness, right? Happiness is an intrinsic reward. So when you can never be happy, but you can do things that make you emotion of happiness. Why? Because when you're doing something that's making you feel good, hopefully it's constructive, right? And then it's to make you keep doing that thing so that you're promoting that well-being, and so that you are moving from one state to another. Anxiety, I got to get away from this situation and move into another situation. So how does that apply to shame? Well,
so the difference
if I'm instilling shame in you, what is it doing? Is saying, you know what? Maybe I need to move from one state into another state.
So the difference between what you're describing, shame as an emotion, I'm referring to shame as an identity. So it's feeling shame is natural. This is when it starts out as a baby. They're 6 months old and they experience shame for the first time when mom's trying to give the baby to an unfamiliar face. They become shy. That's shame. That's where it starts naturally. However, shame develops into an identity when I begin to believe that I'm a bad person inside as a whole. So shame is a healthy emotion, just like anger, just like sadness. Not wanting to get rid of shame, the feeling, it's shifting out of a shame-based identity. And it's being locked in that identity that keeps people in unproductive behavior, like addictions, like always wearing a mask, wearing a false cover-up, not being able to be authentic and myself because I don't believe who I am as a person is enough. So that's a lot of the behavior that comes from the way that women show up in society, is because a lot of them are living with shame-based identities, but we don't help to bring them out of that by further shaming them. If anything, it further ingrains the identity of I'm a bad person, and it just keeps them locked in that role.
Can you share the screen that I just posted up there? Can you guys do screen sharing? What I just put in there. There we go. Can you guys? There we go. This is don't judge. You see, it says judge this cover. This is Brittany Renner. Brittany Renner made an entire career. I don't want to show a lot on there, so I changed the shape. But Brittany Renner made an entire career teaching women how to get wealthy men, athletes, to get them pregnant so that she could have kids with them. And she wasn't shamed for it. She was made incredibly popular. And because she didn't experience shame, eventually she goes on and does a debate sitting across from Andrew Tate. And by the end of the debate, she's like asking him for forgiveness. You remember this, Rollo? She's like, hey, what do I do? I've screwed up my whole life. How do I get back to where I was? Do you guys remember this at the end of the video? Hey, can you keep that up again? Because I got another one I want to show you. Ready? You guys remember this? You guys remember the slut walk that Amber Rose did? Does anybody remember this? She went out there because what she wanted to do was lift the shame that women experience. Did you guys hear on Club Shay Shay this week, where she went back and she goes, I take it all back. It goes, after hanging out with these women and recognizing that they don't experience shame and that they just consistently don't take accountability for their bad behavior, she goes, I would never do this again. So I actually disagree, Amanda. I think shame actually does cause a change in behavior. Here's two of the biggest purveyors of promiscuity of women, like in the entire world, other than Megan Thee Stallion and Bonnie Blue, like literally the most. And these two women changed the way they believed because of shame. So I do think it is a motivator. Now, here's one thing caveat I will say. It is more of a motivator for men than it is for women. For men, because throughout our life, because most women don't find us attractive, throughout our entire life, we're always told about we know the money we don't have. We know the car we can't drive. We know the women that don't like us. We know the weight we can't lift. The world tells us, as we're men growing up, going through puberty, the world constantly tells us no. Because we're in comparison to other men. I watched Michael Jordan play when I was a little kid, and I was like, I want to be like Michael Jordan. I can't be like Michael Jordan. I'm not 6'6". I'm not tall enough. I'm not fast enough. I am constantly reminded of the no's that I experience in my life. And so because of that, and I also joined the U.S. military, and the U.S. military uses a lot of fucking shame in order to train their people. I will tell you that it is an effective strategy, more so for men than it is for women. But it is still an effective strategy. It's an evolutionary strategy that caused people to like almost, fall in line. Now, here's the thing. What they did, what several of these other feminists have done, even Sheryl Sandberg, we can talk about Amber Rose, whatever. A great example would be Alex Cooper from Call Her Daddy. What they're doing instead is they're making it more so like, hey, you should not feel shame. You should do whatever you want. Cheat on him. They have these sweaters. So the number one feminist podcast in the entire world, they sell sweaters that say cheat on him. That's what it says. There's another podcast called Kill All Men. You guys want to check it out? It's on Apple Podcasts. You can subscribe to it right now.
There goes your revenue.
Yeah. So I'm saying like the reality of the situation is, while I understand in a vacuum what you're saying, the reality we live right now, men and women, especially women, experience almost no shame publicly for their actions. It doesn't make any difference what they do, who they sleep with, whatever. They're famous, and 15 minutes later makes no. I mean, you guys are probably not old enough to remember this. The Iran-Contra affair, where Oliver North had to testify in front of Congress because he was illegally taking arms from the Sandinistas and giving, or the other way around, sorry, from Lebanon and giving it to the Sandinistas in Nicaragua, and he was a contributor on Fox fucking News after that. How about Mark Furman? Do you remember when he used the N-word 27 times in that screenplay that he made one time? He was a contributor on Fox News. He just died last week. Nobody pays for anything. There is literally, we are in the most shame-free society in history. There is nothing that compares to this. Dude, and here's the thing. Think about the biggest streamers in the world. Neon, cheated on by his girlfriend. Aiden Ross, cheated on by his girlfriend. Logan Paul, his girlfriend has slept with hundreds of dudes and he won't admit it. Adam 22 let his girlfriend go and have sex with another dude. There's no shame. You are rewarded right now for getting dunked on. Sneeko, he watched his girlfriend having sex with another dude.
Made a career of it.
Yeah, made a career out of it. It's like these men, literally, the more L's they take and the more shame that they would have experienced before, the more money they make online. You watch Clavicular over and over again. He goes up to girls, he'll get rejected on stream. It doesn't matter. The more shame, the more rejection. Dean the Great got punched in the face. You guys remember that? Dean the Great got punched in the face. His stream, 10,000 people watching. The more L's, the more shame, the more you make a fool of yourself today, the more money you make. We are in the opposite of a shame economy. We're in the complete opposite. There is zero accountability for what you do. Zero. And I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's helpful to me because I can say whatever. I can do whatever. It's like there's literally nothing I can do that I can't come back from at this point. Nothing. And so that part is good, but the bad part is that there are certain norms in society that were norms for a reason, and they've been lost. And because of that, the fact that they've been lost, we end up in a situation where women think every man that they deal with is not worthy. And go ahead.
Let me ask something to Amanda real quick, right? And AVG and Jacoby, I have a question for you, so you can go to the next topic. Amanda, if shame is not the solution, what is it, right? Like, society is in complete disarray. Everybody does what they want, freedom of everything. Like, if we can shame people going back to their place, like, what will be the tools for them to actually go back to, like, a more orderly prosperous society, what will be your advice?
I am going to answer the question, but I do want to address something, Michael. So
Sure.
it's kind of like the snake eating its tail. So we live in a shame-based society, and someone does something not okay, and everyone around them who is also living in shame is rewarding this behavior. And it kind of like speaks to, just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? So then we kind of weave in, like, what are your values? So just because you can make 100K a month saying all of these things, it's like, where does your character come into play? Because
what does it matter? No one's being shamed for it. It doesn't matter what your character is. I don't understand. The question you're asking is, again, you're going back to this world that doesn't exist. I understand. The question you're asking is a completely rational, moral question in a world that is neither rational nor moral. You're asking the question. It's a relevant question. The problem is we answered it. We elected him. We answered the question. We don't care about shame.
You have to become the change that you want to see. I think that was Gandhi, right? Everyone in the world is losing their fucking minds, right? but who holds the light? Like, who has the character? And so, yeah, you're rewarded with money. And I know now it's like, and it's always been the almighty dollar, right? Like the almighty God. So people are motivated by money. They're motivated by social currency, by followers. But at what point do you bring your character into the picture? So it does matter. So I'm going to always revert back to be the change that you want to see, even if everyone around you is tripping. So Fatty, to your point, compassion that people have lost their way and still remaining open to holding space for them. And I know it seems very like woo-woo and like good vibes or whatever the case may be, but I'm going to bring my own experience in where I'm a recovering alcoholic. So I'm almost 4 years sober. So I know what it's like to be shame-based. Thank you. And I know I can spot it, and it's all around. There's so much shame. And how I really notice it is in relationship patterns, especially with women. Like the way that they show up and interact with men and the way that they date and their mind process is all shame-based. There's so much toxic shame. But the key to healing toxic shame is not through shaming someone. It's through holding space for the shit that they're going through and just being compassionate.
How did you recover, Amanda?
It's what now?
You were an alcoholic and now you recover. Congratulations, right?
Thank you.
How did you recover?
AA.
What were the steps?
Yeah, so one, I'm gonna promote this, Healing the Shame That Binds You by John Bradshaw.
And by the way, we're going to include the Amanda book and Rollo Tomassi book on the description. Please go ahead and get the book. Okay, I would appreciate it. And Jonathan has a book on the way too, so we're going to promote it when it comes out. So go ahead, Amanda. So you went to the AA, and then what happened?
Yeah, so I read this book called Healing the Shame That Binds You. They suggested that if you have a problem with a substance, to basically come out of hiding, because shame-based people hide. So they hide what they do. They hide what they drink. They hide who they have sex with. They hide what they eat. They hide what they buy, right? So much shame. So went to AA. I got a sponsor. I worked the steps, and I've been sober ever since. But I had to come out of hiding around a group of people who didn't shame me for the things that I did.
But that doesn't start with shame.
Didn't your intention of not being an alcoholic anymore become, because I have several friends who were alcoholics, and they all told me about a low point they experienced, and the feeling they experienced was shame. Amanda, there's nothing I said about not having a place for people to come home to. I did not say that. This is not the forsaken son in the Bible, the parable of the lost son in the Bible. That's not what this is. What we're saying though is in effect, I got in really good shape because I looked in the mirror one time and I was like, fuck, I'm fat. That's it. Like, that made me get in shape. There's different ingredients that you can put into this that make this work. And one of them doesn't always have to be, one of them could be shame. And that shame, but regardless, this is a pointless conversation.
I think it's a bit disingenuous what you just said there, though, Michael.
How?
He just said that he's not saying that they don't have a place to come home to. He literally said that, right?
Yeah, I didn't say they don't have a place to come home to. I didn't say
No, no,
doesn't mean I have to date them, but I can still support a church
I know, but
that brings a safe place for them to come back to.
Where I was saying it was a bit disingenuous, though, is that we all have large platforms. If I go on my platform and I say I would never marry a woman who did this, this, and this, right? And how many hundreds of thousands of young men are out there going to think about the exact same thing and take my words and spin them and follow?
Well, what is the problem? What is the problem with me not wanting to marry someone who was a sex worker? That doesn't make it.
I'm not saying I'm not saying that's not a problem at all, Michael. That's not a problem at all.
So why did you point it out, Jonathan?
I'm pointing it out because I think that's what we need to keep on the down low.
No,
what?
I think Michael.
First off, no one platforms more former sex workers than me and Rollo. Not you times 100,000. If you guys watch our show, we have 12 girls on there at once. Nobody platforms more former sex workers than we do. And they'll come on there. And we had one last week being like, Michael, I love you. You're one of my best friends. I was like, you're one of my best friends too. But I don't want to date her. We give them a safe place. I understand. Contextually, you don't understand who you're talking to. We are not the people to be talking about this.
No, 1 second, friend.
I just don't want to date them. And by the way, Jonathan, you don't want to date them either. So that's the point. So you not wanting to date them. You not wanting to date them either. Are you shaming them? That's a terrible example. You should keep that on the DL, or actually just go date a porn star so that all these other women feel like that. No, that doesn't make any sense.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we've got to be aware of the platforms that we have, and we have to understand that as we go out there and say to a bunch of 18-year-old boys, I would never date a woman who was a porn star, right? And she's got no place to come home to, right?
What?
Or that she's unmarriable.
Okay, Jonathan, you seem to be missing this one key point. She can have a place to come home to, and
so
I don't date her.
It's not.
No, stop.
And you're telling
place for her to come
300,000 young boys that it's not your place. What if they follow your lead? So then, does that mean that she's not going to have a place to come home to?
No. You're missing two different things. Somebody's self-worth. No,
I'm not trying. I'm not.
No, Jonathan, you're deliberately. Hold on. I'm going to give you one more chance. Although after this, I know you're deliberately just trying to misinterpret what I'm saying. There's a place that you can come home to. When I come home for Christmas, I'm not having sexual relations with my family. I can have a safe place to come home to where I don't feel judged. I am not entitled to a happy relationship. A safe place, say it with me, a safe place and a happy relationship are two different things. You are not entitled to happiness with your dream woman because you did something wrong. Just like if you caught an incurable disease, there might be some people who don't want to deal with you anymore, no matter how much of a great person you are or how much forgiveness you've asked for. Whether or not you get a happy relationship is different from a safe place. If I had if my brother did something wrong to me, I can still forgive him. He can still come into my home and have a safe place. That is not guaranteeing a relationship. And you of all people who would not date a sex worker have no right to say any other thing. You can I still love my friends.
I didn't say about the gay thing. I wouldn't. You want
to talk about a content creator? I have 12 women on my show every other week. 4 of them at least are sex workers. And I tell them I love them and they're my friends. Some of my closest friends are female. So there's no talking about I don't have a safe place. I work with domestic abuse charities and I work with domestic abuse charities and human trafficking charities because I'm trying to create a safe place. Like the Shade Tree Domestic Abuse Shelter in North Vegas. That's a safe place. That's different from a happy relationship.
Listening to anything what Amanda is talking about with regards to shame. You basically
what do you mean open? I addressed every single thing.
You addressed in a debate, but you're not opening to changing and listening to what she's saying. She literally was talking about being the change. She's literally talking about being the change.
Can I ask you a question, Jonathan?
Hang on, everyone interrupts me. I got to be able to say something.
You are right. I apologize in advance.
This idea that we need to shame people into change, and Rollo kind of backed him up, and I'm not looking to pick a fight with Rollo, but he did kind of say that, if you want, you got to spit the facts to people and then they will, make change. And people were talking about, I think it was Michael that said you need to hit rock bottom and it was shame that made them want to be a better person. Okay, so let's just run with the theory, the hypothesis that shame is the way we get people to change, right? Amanda's saying there's a different way to get people to change and we don't need to use shame. But let's just run with the hypothesis that shame is the best way to prompt someone into taking action in their life. If that's the case, then give me 5 minutes with your children when they get poor grades so that I can shame them. The problem is no one's going to give me those 5 minutes with their kids. When they hit their brother or they steal something at the corner store, let me shame them. No one will let me shame their kids for 5 minutes.
My principal shamed me when I was a
50-year-old man.
I was going to say, like, my
principal shamed the shit out of me. I don't. My football coach shamed the shit out of me. My military training instructor shamed the shit out of me. Like all of them did.
Come on, guys. I'm just saying we can do better. I believe it or not, Michael. I just got to say, last thing I'm going to land this plane. Michael, I agree with a lot of what you say. I'm not disagreeing. I just think that there's a middle road that we can find between what you're talking about and also what Amanda's talking about.
I am the middle road.
My only pragmatic point was that we've got to be careful when we come on these platforms and we say, I would never date a porn star. You will never hear me say that because I don't want 100,000 young boys picking up that. And then
Correct.
now,
but you also would never date a porn star. But you would also never date a porn star.
Yes, 1 second. Can you stop there, Jonathan?
Yes.
Would you date a porn star? Please answer that.
No, I wouldn't because I'm married. I would never date a porn
star. Jonathan, you made that man standing up and walking around the studio. What's going on? Jonathan, that's the point, Jonathan. You agree with him.
I cannot. So I can't answer the question because I'm already married to a woman who.
Don't do that. The hypothetical. Answer the hypothetical.
She's amazing. So I cannot say that I would marry a porn star because I couldn't date a porn star because I'm married.
We love you, man.
He doesn't want to say no.
Jonathan is awesome. Jonathan's like, why you guys shaming? We did the porn star. Nope. And Jonathan, you said that before. Like you were Jonathan, you are married with an awesome woman that didn't engage in this behavior. So you would.
I wanted a 5'4" ballerina who was perfect and amazing, and that's what I found.
Can we bridge the gap a little bit though? I believe everybody on here would concede that to give people their self-worth, they should be loved and praised and elevated, correct?
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
But we know when they're being loved and praised and elevated and the incentives don't work, that's where consequences come in. If let me finish. If the person has pride when they're doing something that's bad and shameful, then they're going to be more prideful. They're going to engage in it more. I don't think anybody's saying here immediately, if we're praising somebody who's doing the right thing, that you automatically go to shaming them. It's when someone's continuously demonstrating a consistent bad behaviors that may be hurting other people or them. There's a saying, right? If hurting you doesn't hurt me, you don't care or love me, right? So something has to make someone feel better than the incentive they're already getting in the behavior that they're presenting. I would tell Amanda, if I was cheating on you, or if a man was cheating on you and you were already loving him and caring for him, what's going to change him? What's going to make him change that behavior? Not giving him more love. Oh, no. It was
what's going to make you break up with him? Hold on. What's going to make Amanda break up with him when he keeps cheating and she keeps taking him back? It is shame.
Right. So watch this. After I've cheated for the 5th time, knowing that you love and support the man that you're with, what's going to work more? Me seeing you sad and hurt in someone that loves me, or possibly being shamed by men and women in society and possibly losing my job and reputation? Which one would work more for me to change? Because the love isn't working, the incentive isn't working, the support isn't working, the hugs and kisses isn't working, all the things that this wonderful woman is doing for me isn't working. I've cheated for the 7th time. What's going to work more? You crying and hurting again, or men and women in society shaming me and me possibly lose my job and reputation? Which one would work more for me?
Well, for you, because you prefer shame, probably that. But when you said loving and praising and elevating someone, that's only one part of the whole, which is there's also the consequences, the acknowledging the bad behavior, the having a conversation, the diving deeper into the behavior is just the surface level. So if you keep only addressing the behavior, you're just putting band-aids over a bigger problem.
No, work would be real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's say you're somebody's daughter, right? And you were raised the right way, maybe the wrong way. Let's just go the right way. And you were getting hugged and encouraged by a mother and father. Now you're demonstrating behaviors that hurt them, and you still don't feel anything. So the shame part should come from not just about how you feel, and it's how other people feel. That's the part of what shame's supposed to do. Not just, oh, I'm hurting, I feel down, I'm miserable. How are you making other people feel? So it resonates with you, and you become empathetic. The shame should work where you end up being ashamed because you go, oh, why are they hurting me? These are the people that I love and care about. Oh,
such a good point.
Right? Yeah. Oh, I'm hurting them. Now that hurts me. So I'm ashamed from being shamed.
Such a good point. And the point that I really want to touch on is shaming is an external expression of an internal feeling. So if I'm shaming you, there are feelings behind that. Maybe it's you upset me, something you did hurt me, it made me angry, it made me sad. But because we're so disconnected from our own feelings, and especially being able to communicate those, that looks like you're a piece of shit. You shouldn't be doing that. Yes. Instead of this really hurt my feelings. And someone is able to connect more with you hurt my feelings than they are with you ain't shit. So
right. Can I interject on what you just made? Your phenomenal point. If you can't change somebody by loving them, you have to hurt them. You have to hurt.
It's not your job.
Let me finish, ma'am. Let me finish. If I'm going around here hurting people and I feel absolutely nothing at all, something has to shock me. It's not going to be the love. It's that I hurt somebody and I can feel it. Oh my God. I either hurt you or it has to hurt me to make me stop doing that behavior. If the incentive isn't working, the consequences have to be higher than the incentive. So I have to be hurt. And once I get hurt, I say, yo, I don't want to feel this anymore. And then that's where the shame takes place. Now, if you're a narcissist, if you're a psychopath, and you continue to demonstrate those type of behaviors, you're just a trash person. The necessity of being shamed is to feel that you may be a trash person and assume the identity so you can take the time to change the identity and the way people are perceiving you. That's the point of shame.
Let me see if I can bring this home for you, Amanda, just really quickly. Okay, so people don't know this about me. My background actually is in behavioral psychology, not evolutionary psychology. Behavioral psychology, what Ali was just talking about a minute ago, there is negative reinforcement. Okay, punishment. Okay, how do you get? We train animals this way. Okay, with either positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement, which is different from punishment and reward. Okay, so how do we get a desired behavior from a dog or from a person or from an animal, whatever, right? Well, there's many ways to do that. Okay, one of those is negative reinforcement, which is anytime that dog does something that is undesired behavior, there is something that is associated, there's something taken away from it, right? Instead of like punishment applied, like a stick, something like that, a reward is removed. Okay, so that's one way that you can change behavior or modify behavior. Okay, another way is if you perform the desired behavior, then you are rewarded for that. So nobody goes to work because if they don't go to work, they're going to get a sharp stick to the ass because of it, right? No, you go to work because there's a reward at the end of your day, which is a paycheck, and you get to go home and keep the lights on and have food on the table, right? That is the reward. So there's a difference between punishment and reward and negative reinforcement and positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement could be shame. Is that a way to change behavior? Absolutely it is. There's other ways to change behavior as well. One of those might be reward. That might be encouragement. That might be some sort of positive reinforcement that motivates you towards that desired behavior. But if that doesn't work, where one doesn't work, another might. So, there's a school of thought that says that, most human beings don't make personal change unless they have something very real to lose. In this case, it might be their life, right? Inspiration grows from the barrel of a gun. Okay. That is negative reinforcement right there. If you don't perform the behavior that I want you to, I will shoot you. That is the punishment is the gun, right? But that's the negative reinforcement right there to get you to do what I want you to do. There's other ways to go about that, but sometimes it might be dread. Sometimes it might be anxiety. Sometimes it might be, I like the thought of getting with this guy and having sex with this guy so much that that's my reward and I'm going to get after it with this dude, right? That might be something that changes your behavior. So you know what? I really want to get with this guy. I'm going to give up drinking. I'm going to give up all this stuff because I got a better reward than all that shit, right? So that's not necessarily grown from the end of shame, but it's also because there's a reward at the end of that. Maybe something is a better motivator than something else. So shame, although it is effective, it is not the only means to get people to change their behaviors.
Which I think is what Amanda's been saying this entire time. I guess the only issue and my only point when this whole thing started with Michael was just that our platform and being mindful of that. I go back to the Whatever podcast, right? When Brian turns off his computer at the end of his like 4-hour streams or whatever like that.
No, they're
he
10
gets
hours.
10 hours, yeah.
Sometimes.
But he gets to get in his car and go home. And I know he probably sleeps really well. His podcast is doing great.
I think he lives.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, he lives in that room. I've been there several times.
But just this thought of like, I want to sit across from 5 women and make them feel bad about themselves. I don't understand how someone would want to do that and wake up and want to do that every day.
That's not what the show's about.
Y'all keep talking about
$200 but we're pragmatic here. Like, I see the clips on X.
It is what the show's about. I don't know if people are doing that here though.
Yeah, but respectfully, right? If you don't have if you're not shamed enough to show your asshole on the internet for money, words shouldn't hurt your feelings. Like these are consenting adults. Y'all thought man, no means no, yes means man. Yes, these women consent to go on these places to talk for 8 hours about whatever. They should understand exactly what's going on.
But to Rollo's point, there's one way of doing it with shame. But what Amanda's trying to say is there's a different way.
No,
I don't know why this is so hard.
You know why there's not a different way? Because men are being shamed to be better for women. You broke, go get money, sir. You fat, go to the gym,
and how does
sir.
it make us feel? We talked about Homer Simpson.
That's
no one
life.
liked it growing up in the 80s and 90s.
Jonathan, you know what waking up at 4 a.m. to go do a job that I don't want makes me feel? Life is pain. Like since when, like people do things that they don't want to all the time that cause them pain, that cause them stress and all these. This is the life of a man. I have to do things that I shouldn't be doing, but I doing because I have a woman. So now I need to have a 4-bedroom apartment instead of 1-bedroom apartment. I need to have a bigger car. I need to have a better job. And you know what we say? Go ahead and do that for your family. But every time we ask women to do very little things to adjust so they can fulfill the obligations of a man, you do what you did right now. Why do you have standards, Michael? Why are you telling people to do? Men are entitled to have standards too. And if nobody qualifies to their standards, die alone. It's fine. If your standards are so high that nobody actually wants to come in and be with you, go die alone, sir. You made your standards. But it's kind of fucked up that instead of actually asking people to do better, is a race to the bottom. Yeah, accept that. By the time we're done, I accepted everything. She loses respect for me. And now she's with Jonathan because Jonathan actually has self-respect and he puts his foot down and he has standards. So you are telling men to become a man that this woman will despise because women don't hate a man more. A man that they hate is a man that has no spine, no standards, and accepts anything and everything they do. What are the standards that men should uphold, Jonathan? Can you give us some?
I think Michael is setting good standards. I think we can make a choice as men to say, no, that is not someone that I would want to date. I'm not trying to sit here and say that he should, because she's, found God and turned her life around and now all of a sudden she's worthy of marrying Michael. Michael can definitely have that standard. I just think that there's a line there. It's not a black or a white, but there's a way that we can look at it and look at it from the perspective of our platforms to reach across and show love the way Amanda's talking about, show acceptance, show understanding, but also at the same time call people to a higher standard. Yeah. So I think we can do that. I just don't think that we need to do it from a place of shame. And I actually don't, I mean, as far as I know, and Michael, I'll definitely go and check your podcast and your stream out after this, Rollo yours as well. I don't think any of the men on this panel would want to sit across from 5 women and make them feel bad about themselves.
Oh my gosh. Can I say something?
Right? I don't think any of them would do that.
Please.
Right?
When I'm hearing Amanda and Mr. Chosen talk, it all just sounds like we have to treat people with kid gloves and oh no, don't offend them or they might become a bad person or give up on life. That's the most moronic thing that I've ever heard of in terms of a logic train. So what, there might be an adverse reaction on one particularly weak individual, so just don't even try and fix them?
No, not at all. So I'm not saying that the behavior doesn't get addressed. I'm not saying that we don't have conversations. I'm not saying that consequences don't happen. I'm just saying we don't have to say you're a piece of shit to do that.
Sometimes we
Or
do actually.
unmarriable to do that.
Yeah, yes, but can we bridge the gap again? Let's bridge the gap again.
You're marriable, just not by me.
We're going to bridge this gap again. What Michael was talking. Hey, Michael, it isn't that shame works better on men. It's the fact that men are shamed. Women shame men if they're bums. Women will shame men if they're rich. Women will shame men if they're tall, if they're short, if they're fat, if they're broke, if they're vulnerable, if they don't express themselves, if they're emotional, if they talk, they don't talk, if you're ugly, if you're handsome, if you just breathing. So the main thing is what Amanda's trying to say, even though she's not saying this, is we shouldn't shame men and people. We shouldn't shame women. We shame men every day to be what's great for women, but we empower women every day to do what's great for themselves. So we can praise them for being hoes all week, then pray to God on Sundays just to do it again the next week. So again, it's not that shaming doesn't work on women, it's that they don't get shamed at all. And that's why you have the slut shame, don't fat shame, don't LGBT shame. No offense to anybody who LGBT, but you can't shame nothing except for a man. The man has to be righteous and great and a leader every single day, but a woman is great just being a woman.
True.
Yeah,
that is the way the world is.
Where did that come from, though? Why are there all those statements? That's because growing up, women are constantly shamed for those things. Like you're shamed for being too sexual. If you just have like one boyfriend in high school, now all of a sudden she's a slut. You're shamed simply for just being a woman. Oh, you're a woman, you can't do that, you shouldn't do this, blah 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 blah. Like women are absolutely shamed. You're too fat, you're too ugly, you're not like this, you wear too much makeup, you're too blah 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 blah. Women are constantly shamed. I agree, men are also shamed. But I don't even like I don't know. I have complicated feelings about shame. I don't like it. I don't think it typically works. I do think judgment is good. Certain amounts of judgment is good. But I don't think it's unfair.
Shame is literally judgment. Shame is literally
well, hold
a
on,
form
hold
of
on. I
judgment.
don't think it's unfair
Ghosty.
for Michael to make the statement that or anyone to make the statement that if you go into sex work, there's going to be a lot of men who aren't going to want to date you. That is a true.
How's that not fair?
No, I'm saying that is a
She
fair
said it's
thing
not
to
fair.
say.
Yeah,
Or
okay,
she said
yeah.
it is fair. Yeah.
Sure, but
It is a fair thing to say. But once
there are
you
more
start
men that will date you. There are more men. They're just not as high status. Go ahead.
Once you start harping on like, oh, you have no value because you did sex work, or you're worthless, or you're just a useless slut, or you're a bad person, blah blah blah. That's shaming, and I think that's bad. But I haven't seen anyone on this panel in particular do that.
So, but Ghosty, the problem is this, right? It's not that women are not shamed. We just erased the loser label for women. And that's extremely problematic because men loser label is in anything and everything. You short, you fat, you broke, you live on your mama house, you ride the butt. Like men are losers for anything and everything. You're not funny, you're not charismatic, your accent funny. Like you can literally loser.
And
if I ask you what is a loser as a woman, is a fat woman a loser? No. Is a woman with a bad attitude loser? No. Is a woman with 100 bodies loser? No. Let me ask you, for example, is Bonnie Blue, I think it was Bonnie Blue, like what Michael would say, that fuck 1,000 men in one day. Is she a loser?
If you think she doesn't get shamed, that's just ridiculous.
No.
Also, most of the shaming is coming from other men. By the way, most of the men shaming comes from.
To ask those questions.
It was a very particular question, Ghosty. Let's prove right now that women are losers. Is Bonnie Blue that fuck 1,000 men in one day a loser?
No.
What do you mean by loser? Like
Is a man that put his hands on women, is he a loser?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you see, you answered it so fast.
Well, you're comparing sex work to abuse and domestic violence. I mean, I'm just like.
1 second, please. 1 second, friends. Ghosty, do you notice when I was telling what society consider man a loser over and over again, being broke, being short, being fat, being this, like you didn't register because you know it's true. You know, man literally get slotted into certain categories when they don't measure up to par, and the standards for the most part are pushed by men and women.
As do
right?
women.
Absolutely, right? So if I ask you, is such and such a loser, and the first thing you say is define a loser. You've been on this planet for 30 years. You should know what is a woman.
Is she? I mean, first of all, she's going to jail, I think, in Australia. So that's kind of like that would make you a loser, right? But is she losing at life? Like she has a lot of money. Does having a lot of money make you a winner? That's where I'm like a little confused.
But go.
Yeah,
So this is
about $15, $20 million. No, she's not a loser.
And this was exactly my point.
That's not the life like I want.
And this was my point. While we're looking for anything and everything to disqualify men and to put him a negative label, no matter like they may be good people, they might be righteous, they might be all this, but he's unemployed, a loser. Women have to have a complete train wreck of a woman in front of them to say, you know what, this woman is a loser. And when I say is a loser, nobody should admire her. Nobody should aspire to be like her. Most of society should look at her and do, ugh, yuck. So
yeah, like Amber Heard. You just picked a weird example. Like if you picked like somebody dangerous like Amber Heard or someone who falsely accused people, they're losers, obviously. You're comparing domestic violence to someone who does sex work, which
but you know
no, but it's a double standard.
You know why y'all
That's not
you know why
it is
two different categories. That's two different categories. One is immoral, one is like a choice like you might or might agree with.
You know why I know that y'all lying? Because in private, if I am telling you the Bonnie Blue situation, all women cringe. All women do, did she did what? In public, y'all are like, what's the problem? And let her leave. In private, women have way more visceral reactions to Bonnie Blue fucking 1,000 men in a day than they actually have in public. Matter of fact, let me just say this. Let me just say this. Even whores look at that behavior and they cringe. Why did you, even women that either are on sex work or OnlyFans models, they look at their behavior as something repulsive because, like, why? Why would you do something like this? It's not that you're starving. It's not that you are...
So she is a loser, but you just called... So she is a loser, even though you just called her a winner. That's why I asked, like, in what way? Like, her lifestyle...
No, Rollo called her a winner.
Because she's rich, right? So that makes her a winner, but her lifestyle, like, I don't know. Like, some people would consider that her being a loser. That's why I'm asking, like, in what way?
No, so you consider her a winner?
No, we're confusing the point. I can see the circle.
Like not personally. Like
no, I understand. It's like we're saying two different things, right? So it's like one of these things where it's like in my household, I understand morality, reason, accountability, and logic, but outside of my household, in the world, they don't. So in our mentality, is she a winner? Well, I probably wouldn't want my daughter to be like her. So I agree with you. In the world, though, what Rollo is saying is, how does the world react to her? With money, fame, praise. She's a feminist leader now. So that both things can be true. What we're doing is both sides of you are illustrating the lunacy of the world that we live in now. That's it. That's all we're doing. You're both right. It's just one of you is right about what we all in this
still be evil as fuck.
Yeah, that's correct. That's what I'm saying. Like Pol Pot was probably considered a winner while he was murdering all those people with the Khmer Rouge back in Cambodia. He's probably a winner. So Joseph Stalin probably thought of himself as a winner. He's also a terrible person. Like both things can be true. So that's where we're going to keep going in circles until we come to that realization. Sure. You're saying like in general. Yeah, in general, you're right. Morally, in my home, no, I don't. I'm sorry, honey. I don't want you on the pole. That's not how you're going to pay from college. I'm your dad. I'm going to pay for your college. You're not going on the pole. In the world, she's not going to be shamed for being a stripper because TikTok has taken the shame away. Both things can be true.
Mike. Dan Bilzerian, winner or loser?
Yes, it's such a great point. Such a great point. I have all time so many women that I've talked to are like, Dan is a piece of shit. No, would never fuck. I know 6 girls that literally told me they would never fuck Dan, and I went to Dan's house and they fucked her right there. I know at least 6 girls. It is so wild to me. Like, yes, Dan is a good friend of mine, but it's like one of these things where it's like people are like, he's a loser, and I'm like, he's a loser with $400 million. Like, I understand what you're saying. I understand why you don't like him. I don't agree with a lot of shit that he says, but I watch women kick each other, literally foot push each other to try to get into bed with him, and everyone's telling me that he's a loser. And no, he doesn't pay them. No, he doesn't. He doesn't pay them. They're literally just want the clout, and they are killing each other to try to get with him. So I don't want that lifestyle. I think that's too hedonistic. By the way, so does he. That's why he doesn't do any of that shit anymore. But at the same time, for you to say again, here's the best example. The S&P 500 does not get to determine its own value. The S&P 500's value is determined by buyers and sellers. Whether or not someone has high levels of value is not determined by any one of us, even about Bonnie Blue. Now, internally in my home, I can determine whether or not I think she's a winner or a loser, but externally, I can't be like, I can't believe these. Did you guys see Bonnie Blue's like engaged to some guy now? And it's like, I can't believe this guy engaged to Bonnie Blue. Oh, it's so no. I don't get to determine that. Someone picked her. Out there in the world, someone picked her. Someone decided that Dan Bilzerian, the stock price of his Ignite stock is worth X, and he's worth X millions of dollars. Someone decided that no matter how many mom and pop stores that Jeff Bezos put out of business with Amazon, he's one of the richest men in the world. Someone decided this. No matter how much little I think of Lauren Sanchez, a billionaire married her, so I can't decide her value. I don't get to decide other people's value. The world does. And so that's why I'm saying that when it comes to this, internally in my own home, in my own church, yes, I can decide my values. But out there in the world, I can't. Does it make sense?
So
that's
Michael,
a whole different.
Before Rollo goes, and then we have to go to the, I need AVG to answer the prompt and go to the next question. I don't know if y'all remember the prompt before you, Michael, come in. This is literally the prompt. What do women like? Woman don't care about right or wrong. Women care about winners and losers. And this conversation, full circle, kind of make us think that, like this example of Dan Bilzerian, they don't give a fuck about right or wrong. They will do a moral judgment and then go and pick the winners that they think that are winning. This is not about right or wrong. This is not about doing what Jonathan and Amanda want us to do, being pathetic and be nice. Dan Bilzerian be kicking us out of his house since the mid 2010s. And this woman know, and they know there's 10 men on their DMs that want to treat him right and want to be just the only one, and they're ready to go ahead and flock to that man. And in a lower doses, it happens with the average woman and the guy that is tall, handsome, and all these things. So why should I do the Amanda and the Jonathan thing, right? When women clearly don't care about the right thing, they care about the winner. Why shouldn't I become ruthless? Why shouldn't I become that person instead of coming in with empathy and all these things? You're right? Like, why should I do that? Go ahead, Rollo. And interrupt, please.
Well, Mike, just to clarify, it's kind of a bastardization of what like Rich Cooper was saying, like how women don't care about men's struggles. They waited to the finish line and fuck the winners, right? Which, as I was saying before, we got to remember we're using Bonnie Blue and Dan Bilzerian as like example. These are the most extreme illustrations we pull out of our ass. Okay, like one of the things that like when I remember this one conversation that was on Fresh and Fit, and I think it was Destiny was sitting across from Fresh, and Destiny said something effective like, what percentage of women do you think are getting flued out to Miami by Drake to go on a yacht party or something like that? And Fresh is something like 30%, which is like really ridiculous. But it's more like a fraction of 1%, right? But that's not the point. The point is that because that one woman, there's one woman that was flown out, and she has friends, and it's just exponentially goes around social media, goes around Instagram and everything. What that does is it affects the attitude and the understanding of the sort of the self-evaluated value of that woman. So if that bitch can get flown out, I'm cuter than that girl. I could get flown out too. And so there's this sort of this perceptual sense of value that gets amplified as a result of social media and being on and seeing what's possible, what could happen, right? So not every girl's getting flown out to Biscayne Bay for a yacht party or something like that. But the thing is that the possibility that it could happen is that perception of it is what is sort of feeding into that whole thing. Is that woman actually going to be able to go and do that? Probably not. Is a woman actually going to be able to, the average woman going to be able to fight for the attentions of Dan Bilzerian? No, not going to happen. But what we have to do is you have to scale that back and understand that on a larger sort of population scope of things, the perception of all that feeds into the social fabric. It feeds into the attitudes that we have with men and with women. So when that woman finally turns off the phone, or that guy finally logs off of Twitter or whatever, now he's got this attitude like women are all out to get me, and that woman is always like, well, I could do better than this. I could do better than this guy, because she's taking that understanding of that global sexual marketplace, and now she's turned it off, and now she's stuck in her local sexual marketplace, and she looks around, she goes, well, these guys ain't shit. all these guys in Miami, they're way better than these guys, right? And so now that's the standard for her because she lives in Paducah, Kentucky, and she doesn't live in Miami, right? Or the same guy who watches, watches TikTok videos, watches reels or something like that, and he sees these chicks and they're all in bikinis. If all you ever did was watch women in Instagram, you would just think that everybody just lounges around and walks around in lingerie and swimwear, right? It doesn't happen. Thing is though, that's the attitude. That's like this pervasive sort of like understanding of what we think or what we're expecting from our global expectations or what we apply to our local expectations. And I think that's what sort of drives that divide. And that's the thing that's average women don't want to get with average men. But that standard of what is average and what is not is set by what they see on Instagram and what they see on TikTok and what they see on YouTube. But how do you break them out of that? How do you break out of that mentality, that perceptual mentality? If there's one gender that is more, I think is more prone to that perception, I would say women are, because that's the communication side of things. But that's not to say that guys' expectations aren't also affected by that as well. So in reality, when you turn off we turn off this live stream and I walk outside my front yard, it's a whole different fucking world out there. And it's something that I kind of had to reassess when I started working with Mike, and we live in Vegas, we do our things in Vegas and everything, and I am constantly around just absolutely stunningly beautiful women all the time. If you've ever watched Access Vegas, you get an idea what we're about. When we go to our charity events, when we go to like Babes in Toyland, we just got done in Miami at the white party, at Swim Week, also in Miami. But when I'm there, I always have to say, this is a different world. Because when I walk through the Miami airport or walk through the Las Vegas airport and I go from the TSA to my gate, I'm looking around and going, this is real people. These people that I'm looking at right now, the overweight people, the people who are like, one man is fighting with his wife and the kids and everything, all this other stuff that's going on, that's a cross section of America. Those are normal people, but they're still influenced by this stuff.
But Rollo, that's the point, right? These people are not excluding themselves for this lifestyle because they don't want to. It's because they can't. It's like asking a person that doesn't have superpowers, why don't you fly, man? Because I can fly. The only thing that humbles this woman is their loss of superpowers. When the titties are sagging and the ass is not as round as it was, and now she has, like, this woman will use their superpowers to do whatever and whenever they want. And the other woman that usually don't qualify, and this is why, for example, the plastic surgery industry is booming right now, is because it's giving powers to people they shouldn't have. If you guys watch The Boys, this is the V, compound V. You are not a superhero and you inject that and all of a sudden you are a superpower. This is what women understand.
I used this as a clip actually on one of our shows. It was on whatever podcast, and Brian was going around the table and he asked each one of these women, he said, what percentage of men do you find unattractive? Right. And then they all said something like anywhere between 50 and like 80% somewhere. Some of them said 90. Right. And then they were like, okay, well, how many guys are like completely like, like ugly, like not unattractive, but like ugly. And then they would just, say, 90%, blah, blah. And then how many men do you think qualify as being attractive, like personally attractive? It was anywhere between like 10 and 5%, which tracks with everything that me and Mike have talked about for forever, that tracks with every survey, every research data set that's ever been out there. And I thought it was interesting because I'm looking at the women at that table and none of them are like above a 5 or a 6, right? At least by Vegas, standards anyways. I'm looking at this and I'm saying these are average women who don't want to get with average guys. And if you want one reason why we have the fertility crisis right now, why we have the male loneliness epidemic, like name any sort of gender issue right now, the political divide between men and women. If you look at the marriage rates, if you look at anything that is sort of relationship, men and women related, it all distills down to one thing. Average women do not want to get with average men. In fact, they feel entitled to above average elite men because those are the only ones that will do at this point. And we were just talking about, I wouldn't marry, I think it was Jonathan. I wouldn't marry an OnlyFans girl. Well, guess what? The average woman doesn't want to marry the average dude either. She just simply doesn't want to get with that guy because she believes, thanks to the global sexual marketplace and this pervasive perception of an overestimate of her value, that she deserves, not only just deserves, but is entitled to a guy who is an elite level dude. And if she can't get that guy, she don't want to get married.
Amanda and Ghosty, I want to ask you this question before I read the super chats real quick, okay? Does the average woman respect the average man? Does the average woman want the average man, okay?
It's time for some super chats.
Thank you very much, Mr. Philly Old. Oh, damn, the camera is on reverse. I can't show them anymore. Thank you very much, Philly Old Ed, for the cash app. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir.
Cha-ching! And your mic too, Fatty.
My mic is gone?
It's not on, no, it's good. It's not the
It's the spatula, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
That's crazy. Philly Old Ed, thank you very much for the cash app. Thank you very much. He says 20K. Salute. I appreciate you, sir.
Cha-ching!
Lady Xerox with the $5 cash app. Happy $5 Friday. LOL. Awesome panel. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Cha-ching!
We have OG Top Cat. He says, salute, brother. Nice show. I appreciate you, OG.
Cha-ching!
And finally, we have Jeremy Batman with the $50 ball. He says, the untouchable empire, baby.
The untouchable empire, baby.
Thank you so much for the $50. I appreciate you, sir. Let me go to the super chat real quick. All Long Nate says things. Shaking my friends. I'm Portuguese. I have no idea what that means in English. I only have basic English understanding. Okay, but thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you for the super. We have System Crash. He became a member on the Rollo side. I appreciate
The untouchable empire, baby.
Thank you very much. We have Jay Wills gifted 1 membership to the Untouchable Empire. Thank you, Jay.
The untouchable empire, baby.
We have Scott Ott something. He became a member on the Rollo side. Thank you very much,
The
sir.
untouchable empire, baby.
We have Shadow the Titan Wasp saying UGH Canadian. Friends, once again, friends, you need to take in consideration that I'm a foreigner, please. No more abbreviations. Worthy says Audi Rollo, Audi class F, tune in a wild. I'm dying with laughter seeing the pearl in the intro. Ah ha 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 ha. Please don't judge us, friends. We don't like her either. You didn't hear that right now.
Oh man, hey.
Leisha became a member. Thank you very much.
The untouchable empire, baby.
I appreciate it. Big Ed in the building. The Untouchables in the panel. Thank you very much, sir. Carl Anderson with the 5
The
membership.
untouchable empire, baby.
And we eat this with another one. Another 5. Thank you so much,
The
Carl.
untouchable empire, baby.
Big Ed says compliment to the chef, Ilkan and Fatty, the Untouchables. Thank you very much, friends. Thank you. We have my boy Twisted Pup with 5 Untouchable memberships. Thank you very much,
The
sir.
untouchable empire, baby.
We have 20 to go. Tilgi, should arranged marriages be more common in the society moving towards the future? Rollo, can you give us a quick yes or no? Should arranged marriages be more common in the society moving towards?
Okay, so when it comes to arranged marriages, I understand the logic behind that. I just think that they're untenable in modern society right now. I think it won't happen. Is it a good idea? Sure. There's a lot of great ideas, but can you make them actually, functional? Not gonna happen.
He said no. They don't work. 0. Most people don't change. This is a Hollywood myth. Thank you very much, Zero Fallout. We have TLG. He's saying, Jonathan, stop saving these hoes.
If Jesus can't save these hoes, why are you trying? What make you think you greater than Jesus?
Keep trying, Jonathan. Don't listen to him. Maisha, thank you very much, Maisha, for the 5 untouchable memberships. I truly appreciate you. Not 5, 10. Thank you.
I believe that there's multiple so-called black leaders who believe that they are untouchable.
The untouchable empire, baby.
Thank you very much. Shadow says, literally, internet lives forever. Thank you very much, sir. Philly Old Ed became a member
The
of the
Untouchable Empire, baby.
Thank you very much. Frieza in the building with another
The
membership.
Untouchable Empire, baby.
Frieza
The
again.
Untouchable Empire, baby.
Thank you so much, Frieza, for another membership. One more again.
Again.
Thank you. Big Bad Kahuna, another membership. Salute to you, sir. Appreciate
The
it.
Untouchable Empire, baby.
We have a bit of smarts. Should your woman prove equal love, Jonathan, or no? Jonathan, should your woman prove equal love or no?
100%. I definitely think that we all need to put our best foot forward and be constantly earning the admiration and respect from our partners. So yeah, I don't think it's
Wait. Was that what you said on the beginning of the
I
show?
didn't say that. I said that
He said what is, not what should be. He was saying what is the reality, not what should
the
be.
reality is that that's not the case, but it should be. Yes, I do believe
One
men
second.
and women should make
Sure,
equal amounts of
Jonathan, let's
effort.
go with reality, right? Should you qualify? Your woman, probably an attractive woman, probably can replace you tomorrow. Should you work? Like, should she earn that from you?
100%. Like when men operate from their best moral high ground, they can call their wives and their partners to be the best version of themselves as well. It's not a one-way street.
No, but you said earlier she don't have to prove anything. She shouldn't have to prove anything.
Jonathan,
That's why we had a conversation.
Jonathan,
I
this
was
is what you
stating the
said.
reality of the situation is that a woman out there today, even, and you guys, and Fatty, you brought up the woman whose breasts have changed and her butt's changed.
Sure.
Even she's pursued. So even she doesn't need to prove anything to get a lover, right?
So what
I was
is
just
your
stating
stand?
that that's the reality. I don't think that it's right. I definitely think she should be putting in just as much effort as a man.
Yeah,
Let it go for
you know what?
that he did one of them.
You know what?
He did one of them backtracks.
Michael was
I'm going
agreeing
to-
with me.
I'm
I did
going to-
not do a.
I'm going to play this for myself, Jonathan. I should be quiet.
Boy, you don't sit your stupid ass down. Who the think you is?
I'm going to be quiet, Jonathan. I am wrong. Okay, I am super. Thank you very much. We have Dottie Girl supporting Fatty. Great show. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Shout out to my brother Hill Canali. Did a great job this week. We have Dottie Girl with 5 untouchable memberships. Thank you
The
so much.
Untouchable Empire, baby.
We have more 10 to go, and then we'll go back to the show, friends. Uncle Rick, your feelings are yours. How you feel isn't what happened. Let's go, Fatty and Ali. Shout out to Uncle Rick. I hope you had the happy birthday week. Thank you very much. Striking the Rich, £5. I don't want to judge them. I just want to take their livelihood away. The Book of Jonathan. Shout out to Jonathan, always on. Damn, that's not the Book of Jonathan. He has another name. Stop hating. Zero Fallout. Why should men care about these 3 or 4 getting cuffed up? Women just don't like to take L's. We are not at extinction levels like the old days. We kept them as a pariah for the next generation to learn.
Which is true.
Zero Fallout comes with another untouchable man.
The Untouchable Empire, baby.
I appreciate you striking it rich. Jonathan, I'm not disagreeing, Michael. I'm just pandering to my 2 supporter base wish list. Also attempting to get the viral clip that can help promote my new book. Jonathan has 50, 100, 400,000 subscribers on Instagram.
Way more than us.
I don't
Jonathan,
subscribe
don't
to
you have
that.
like
That's very mean.
100,000 subscribers, Jonathan?
What's that?
Don't you have like 500,000 subscribers, something like that?
He has a lot. He has a lot.
Like 338 on Instagram.
Man,
and
hey,
like,
striking here. Stop dating on Jonathan.
Oh
Hey.
man, hey.
He got he got all those followers from not judging women.
you know, I throw men and women.
I'm just joking, Jonathan. I'm just
Damn,
joking.
Hey, Jonathan, after the show, block Holly. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. Bonnie Blue. Striking the Reach says, Team Fatty, is Bloody Blue a loser? Ghosty, define a loser. Somebody has been learning from the Andrew Wilson School of Debate. Damn, that's crazy. No comment. Nico is in the building. Ghosty, how many times could the same rubber band retain a newspaper, including the Sunday edition, is why sex work is trash. Thank you very much. We have 5 to go. Maisha with the $50 ball. Thank you very much.
Level.
Thank you very much, Maisha, for supporting my air conditioner fund. Thank you very much. He's a sponsor of the show with the $100 all long night. Just saying, Paducah, Kentucky is a beautiful little town, and I would like to spend more time there. And we
I always use that as like I don't know, it's like sort of in the middle of nowhere. I'm sure it's probably a very nice place.
Paducah, Kentucky. Okay, I see that. Thank you very much, sir. Shadow Dragon TV gifted 1 membership. I appreciate it.
Untouchable Empire, baby.
And Michael wasn't understanding towards his cat showing his asshole on the camera, and he took him out of the
Hey, man, you know how much you get for that on
Masculinity. Masculinity.
Hey,
I have
he
3 cats,
said-
by the way. I rescue cats. That's my number 1 hobby.
Shout out to Garfield. He was in the building for 10 seconds. Thank you very much, sir. Shadow Dragon gifted another membership. Thank you very much.
Hold on. Fat, he said he became a millionaire saving cats. I need to change mine. I need to do something else.
That's crazy.
That was a double entendre, huh, Michael?
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
A bit of smarks. Focus on similarities to conserve our society, please. And then I think we have 2 more. It says Mr. 420 himself. Average woman don't want the average man until the average man is all they can get. Then they settle. And finally, Mr. All Long Night saying fatty, don't wear out the soundboard. Thank you very much for the advice, sir. I will stop doing that because you asked. Okay. Thank you very much. I will never play clip again.
Liar.
Now let's go back to the show, please.
It's time to do.
Amanda and Ghosty. Do average woman want average man? Do average women think they are above the average man? I want to start with Amanda and then Ghosty, and then we go to the rest of the panel. Go ahead.
Does the average woman think she's above the average man, and then does she want the average man? Is that real?
Yes.
Yeah, body language.
It's what?
Your body language. Never mind.
What's it saying?
You about to tell the truth?
Don't listen to Ali trying to destabilize you. Don't listen to him.
So the average woman wanting an average man, I think that women want the idea of what their imagination has created. I think that women are severely misguided and underguided when it comes to how they choose people to date. And so they end up dreaming up this man, this idea of the person that they want to spend their life with. And then they find that reality isn't meeting that standard. So my answer would be no, she doesn't want the average man, I would say.
Ghosty?
I would say, yeah, like I kind of agree. Women probably will say that they don't want an average man, but when it comes down to it, most average women end up with average men, and that's seen by most married men aren't 6'1". Most married men don't make over $100,000. Most married men are in pretty average shape. So at the end of the day, like, sure, you have your Prince Charming or whatever, but most average people end up with other average people. So
that's kind of interesting. Are y'all kind of confessing that women only settle with their counterpart out of necessity, not because they actually like them?
No, I don't.
Not
think so.
necessarily. Yeah, especially because the times we're in, I mean, women can support for themselves. It's not like back when, they needed a man financially to survive for safety and security.
Is that true?
Can I say that that's absolutely not true, Amanda?
Yeah, most people can survive by themselves on this economy. They need a roommate. They need a mama.
No,
they
you
need
guys
a
got to remember
boyfriend.
this. you guys got to pay attention to this. Women can't survive and support themselves on their own. All they've done is outsource that supporting to other men who they're not married to. Women don't run the oil rigs in the North Sea. They don't build the bridges in China. Men do that, right? They're just outsourcing support, right? So this is the thing that drives me nuts about this dialogue that's out in the world, that women can support them. They can't, but men can't procreate by themselves either. Men also don't create Christmas memories in the way that women do. We need each other. So this idea that we don't need each other or that we're not supported by each other is completely false and inaccurate. So I just needed to clarify that.
I agree from the vantage point that you were looking at it from, and maybe there's some naivety in my perspective. So I wasn't going as far as to say that we don't need men to really uphold the infrastructure. I'm strictly referring to living arrangements. So paying.
But then the problem is you sound like Elon Musk. Elon Musk says, I don't have internal combustion engines. No, he's got external combustion engines. Half of the electricity produced comes from fossil fuels, right? So he's getting the electricity, he's just outsourced the combustion engine from inside the vehicle to outside the vehicle. So this idea that we don't need support is just, it's this dialogue that pits men against women. It makes women feel like they don't need men. It makes men angry when women say that. This is just divisive nonsense that we need to move away from. So I'm not coming down on you, Amanda. I'm actually just more coming down on this idea, but it bugs me to no end when I hear that women don't need men. Women absolutely need men. They need to be supported by men just as much as men need women. It's called reciprocity. We all need each other. So, sorry.
If I could jump in here real quick, because I know Jonathan mentioned something about him being a Sigma. So you must know something about sociosexual hierarchies. So when we're looking at, like, this is from Vox Day, by the way, is the author that came up with this. There's alpha, there's betas, there's deltas, there's gammas, there's omegas. A lot of people want to talk about alphas and betas and gammas, but we really don't talk about as the deltas. The delta male guys, by classification, are sort of the guys who are average men, right? I'm going to turn the Ned cam on. I'm going to turn my Greyhound on here in a minute.
He's 25 pounds.
So the delta males are the guys who are what Jonathan was just talking about. There's the guys who work on the oil rigs. They're the blue collar workers, right? They're the salt of the earth guys. They keep the lights on. They fill the potholes.
Drive the trucks.
We drive the tray. Exactly. Longshoremen. They are the guys who keep the lights on and keep the power grid running. They could be policemen. They could be whatever. The average guy is just maybe has a college degree, but usually it's a sort of, they're welders, he
has more money than the guy with the college degree, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Or they work in raw sewage, right? Or they're garbage men or something like that. We need those guys. But the problem is that when we say average women don't want to get with average guys, those are the guys that we're talking about. So up until recently, really probably within the last, right around the millennia. So for the last 25 years, we've been telling guys that they're superfluous. Average women don't want to get with average guys. Who are those average guys? Those are the guys who keep the lights on. Those are the guys who had a social contract right up until about 25 years ago that said, hey, look, if you go and you make a good living and you're not an alcoholic and you go to church on Sundays and you pay your taxes and you work 40 hours a week and you do what you're supposed to do, right? You're a real man. You get out there and you get the work done. You come home and you shower when you come home instead of like shower before you go home, before you go out, right? That guy had a reasonable expectation that if he did all of that, he could get with a woman who maybe she's got a job. There's a difference between a career woman and a woman who has a job. So she's got a job too. She can get with the average woman, will get with the average guy. They can have average kids. They can have a golden retriever in the front yard, and they can get a nice SUV, and they can, go have fun on a Saturday at NASCAR or something like that, whatever it is, right? That's all out the window right now because the social fabric is such that women don't need that anymore. They can do just fine by themselves, right? We have strong, independent women. Independent from what? independent from men, independent from the support of men, independent from the relying on their long-term security, as I was saying earlier, on men. So if those women, those average women, don't want to get with average men, those guys go, fuck it. Why am I playing this game anymore? Why do I want to be a part of this anymore? And so what happens is you lose the delta males. And when you lose the delta males, you lose society. That's when everything goes dark at that point. Guys just simply say, well, what's in it for me? Why am I even doing this? That's the first time. It's funny. It was interesting that I think it was Andrew Wilson who he was talking to, Tommy Lahren on Pierce Morgan. She's just going on about what a real man does this and a real man does it. Here's your expectations and this is what you need to do and all this stuff. He just shut her down with one sentence, which is, what's in it for men? And she just looked at him like stunned, like I can't even believe you're asking that question. Like, well, because she couldn't answer it. There's nothing really there because the women that she knows already make their money. They don't need a man. A man is just sort of like an accessory. It's just like, it's nice to have, but not absolutely necessary. When you take that and you put that into middle America and you put that into the delta males, you lose the delta males. Lose the delta males, you lose society.
I don't think society's better for that though, Rollo. Like a lot of women are really miserable because they're unmarried and I'm 36 this year, right? I was engaged once to a man that I had incompatible beliefs with, but I don't have any kids, right? And yeah, I think the amount of years I have left to have kids are probably quite limited, right? And I'm quite successful in my career. A lot of women are like me, and I don't really think that builds happiness because I'm living the feminist dream right now, and I don't find it, as rewarding as some of my friends who have kids and have a husband, right? Not just I don't like my job. I love my job, and I'm very happy at what I do. But I don't have a family.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something very unread pill. Okay, it's I'm of the opinion that men and women are better together than they are apart.
100%.
I think that men and women are innate, natural, evolved complements to one another, right? So your weaknesses make up for my strengths, and my strengths make up for your weaknesses. Like, so if you look at the things that we're naturally, innately have proclivities to be good at, and we're not so good at in other areas, put us together, and damn, we make a pretty fucking good team if everything, locks in and we gel, right? Which is the way it used to be back in, the caveman days or whatever. But the thing is that now that we have gotten to the point where we have technologically made one sex superfluous, courtesy of hormonal birth control, then, I don't think people really realize the impact, like the worldwide global humanity scale impact that hormonal birth control had on just human beings certainly for the last 4 generations, at least. We're still, by the way, I think it's funny. It's like when people start talking about like the sexual revolution in the past tense, I'm like, no, we're still doing it right. This is the experiment.
Yeah.
We're doing it right now, man.
100%.
But should we prioritize, I'm asking the women too, and Rollo too, and Michael, should their happiness even be prioritized? Should we care about their happiness anymore? Like, if it's impossible to make them happy, and regardless of what situation they're in, should it matter anymore? Like, should society's security, the security of society, matter more than a woman's happiness today, especially when her happiness is all about herself? But even if she has herself, she's still miserable. Like, it would seem like the man's happiness is more prevalent or important, and society's security is more important than a woman's happiness because she's never happy.
A very easy answer. I'll tell you exactly why men are more happy than women are today. Very easy. Because men do shit. You got to remember that I think one of the biggest lies and one of the biggest crimes we perpetrated on women since really the mid 60s with militant feminism and everything is that women have an entitlement to this perpetuated, maintainable, sustainable state of happiness. I mean, you'll hear women who'll say they're divorcing their husband. Why? Because I'm unhappy. And it's like, okay, well, what is the happiness? Well, I just talked about that earlier on. It's like happiness is bullshit. It's unattainable because our definition of what happiness is what we do, not what we are. You will never be happy. You will never be able to sustain happiness. That's why when I always see these research data on the single women without children are the happiest demographic, and then like 2 weeks later there'll be another one that says married women with children are the happiest demographic. It's all based on the same bullshit lie, which is that women can and should be happy all the time, and they are entitled to be happy all the time. The problem is that happiness is a proximate outcome, not an ultimate outcome. So I can do the things that make me feel happy. If I'm petting my dog, that makes me feel happy. If I'm playing guitar, it's making me feel happy. What do we say about emotions? Emotions are meant to move you from one state to another state. And usually that has something to do with survival or reproduction. So in happiness, sometimes it's probably about reproduction, right? But it could be other things. We got to remember that the way we process information in an emotive state, we have those emotions are meant to move you from somewhere to another place, right? So happiness is not some nirvana. It's not some place that's sustainable. It's not like, well, once I do these things, then I'll be content. Then I'll be happy. Discontent defines the human condition. You can never be contented. You know what? That's a good fucking thing. Because if we weren't, we would stagnate. We wouldn't have progress. We wouldn't have this wonderful, YouTube studio I've built for myself here, because all the people who put all this shit together that I have no idea how they did, they were trying to figure something out so they could profit from it, so they could feel happy, or they liked doing it. I'm happy right now being able to sit here and talk to you guys and have a good time doing this, right? I'm doing something that makes me feel the reward, the inherent innate reward of happiness. When I'm feeling stressed, when I'm feeling anxious, when I'm feeling depressed or sad or something, guess what? That's another emotion that's telling me I need to move from one state to another state. But only with happiness do we use that as a metric for success. We only use happiness to say, well, the reason why women feel the way they do, or the reason why women hate men so much, or the reason why women think that men ain't shit, is because those guys are expected to deliver a happiness that simply can't exist, because happiness is a proximate outcome, not an ultimate outcome. And so what we do is we say, okay, well, ladies, you can't feel happy and you deserve to be happy. All women deserve to be happy. But guess what? You can't rely on these sons of bitches to do it. But guess what? I've got these great antidepressants over here, some SSRIs. Why don't you take some of these? Oh, you know what? I also have Patron. Would you like some tequila? That will make you feel happy. I have a chemical solution. I have a chemical remedy for to make sure that you feel happy all the time. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a chemical. It could be a thought process. It could be a drug. You want to know why we have SSRIs prescribed to women at you just see these skyrocketing rates. Why is that? And people go, well, it's because women are all fucked up. No, it's not, because we've sold them this lie that they can be happy all the time. If you would just find some way to say, look, you can't be happy. You can only do happy. And you know what else you do? You get anytime somebody tells you women's happiness or men's happiness, they use some sort of research or some data set that says that he wants to prove some kind of point, that then they're using happiness as the metric for them. Tell them to fuck off, because that's part of the problem. It's this social narrative that it just keeps getting repeated over and over and over again. You will never be happy. You can only do happy. That's why guys are more happy than women, because we're out there doing shit all the time. That's why we don't have time to think whether or not we're happy or not, because it's a approximate goal or approximate outcome. It's transient. So if you asked a woman, what's your overall state of happiness at 25 years old and you don't have kids? Babe might have just got back from EDC and going, yeah, man, it's fucking great, man. I feel fucking great and happy, right? You ask them when they're 30 years old and they're like, damn, I can't find a man or anything like that. I'm not very happy, right? Well, it's because you're not doing happy. You think that happiness is a sustainable nirvanic place you go to and you could find it. And what's really dangerous is when we attach that idea to a guy. So when a woman marries the guy and the man can't provide this sustainable, endless state of happiness, that, like what was saying, I think it was Jonathan was saying, you can never make a woman happy. That's very, very true. But it's true because you have to feel happiness in the doing. not in the being. There's no, you're just going to sit there and, okay, what do I have to do to make you happy? Like, you're doing the things that you're doing, and she's not. She's the one who's supposed to be the recipient of happiness, but she can't be happy because she's not doing. You are.
Is he telling the truth, ladies? Like, what actually makes y'all, what can all the people that's watching right now, there's almost 700 people watching, what actually makes y'all happy, so we can do it right now today, and we'll go forever into the sunset making you happy or adding to your happiness, excuse me, and help you to do what actually makes you happy?
Well, I think it's okay. You can go first.
Vigorous sex.
Okay, so it goes back to the initial question, right? Like, what do women prefer? And something that I didn't hear that I would have really liked to is that it's all intrinsically feeling based. Women are generally led by our emotions. We typically, define winner and loser differently depending on the day. That's why there's the bad boy phenomenon. That's why women will go and be hypergamous, right? There's all of these different societal factors that influence us, but also our hormones and our feelings. So the question, what would make a woman happy? I guess I would ask you, well, what day is it? Is it a certain time of the month, right? Am I, pregnant? Do I have a husband or a boy? Like, it's a very complicated question. You're talking to the sex that doesn't know what we want to eat. When you say, like, okay, what do you want to get for dinner, right? It's like a 20-minute conversation, right? What makes us happy? It's the mystery that philosophers have been trying to figure out for decades, honey.
It's parked in my garage right now, actually.
Rollo might have a point, though. Most of our mothers that were fortunate to have a
Can
mother.
you let Ghosty answer that before you?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ghosty.
So I was gonna say that
And a man.
this is why I think a lot of women tell other women to figure out yourself before getting into a relationship, because it is true that when you're young, like, relationships and getting married and having this beautiful wedding is so, like, put into our heads that we focus on that so much, and we think that we're going to find this perfect man that's going to make us happy, rather than figuring out, like, what truly makes you happy is figuring out yourself and how to make yourself happy. And then when that all comes together and you find a person to complete your life, they shouldn't be your source of happiness. Like, yes, they should bring happiness into your life, but you shouldn't be dependent on them to be happy. You need to find happiness within yourself, give yourself purpose before getting to that stage. So I think a lot of women have this, like, falsehood of, I'm going to find a man that makes me happy, rather than learning how to be happy yourself and then finding a man and feeling complete like that.
Ghosty, what do you like to do?
I'm a photographer, so I love photography. I love being around animals. I love
you have great taste in
nature.
music as well, so I know you like music.
Music, yes, I love music, concerts, stuff like that.
No, but that's a phenomenal point. Go ahead, Mr. Man. I'm gonna let you go because I want to ask another question, but I'm gonna let Amanda go real point about what she just said. But go ahead, Amanda. What actually makes y'all happy?
I don't really have a whole lot to add. I really want to second what Rollo said, that happiness is a fleeting emotion. It's not a constant state of being. So I would say that reaching for fulfillment and peace are more solid goals than happiness. And that's being at peace with what is, no matter what's happening around me. And then to what Ghosty was saying about that needing to come from within first versus trying to get something outside of you to give you this emotion, because that's essentially we're all always reaching for emotion. We don't want the money because we can cuddle with money and be friends with money. We want the money because it gives us an emotion. We want the relationship because it leads to an emotion that we want to experience. So finding that within first instead of using people and things to create that for you.
If you gave somebody, you met a friend, they gave you $50, and every time you gave them $50, they gave you $200, would you appreciate that friend?
Say that one more time.
If you met a friend and every time you gave them $50, they gave you $200, would you appreciate that friend?
Would I appreciate it? Yeah.
Would you make more friends like that? You meet a friend, you gave them $50. Oh man, thank you so much. Here's $200. Would you appreciate that, friend?
Yeah, I would appreciate that.
Because I'm listening to what you're saying on top of what Rollo is saying, and it's, what's weird is most of us that are old enough to have mothers that were beautiful, mothers that were purposeful, it was hard to tell them to sit down somewhere. They love performing for their husbands and for their children. So when Rollo asks what Ghosty says, she loves animals. She loves taking pictures. And then you're saying you should have a goal. But if you take the doing part, or what you love, which is a choice, right? Let's say it's happiness, all correlates with each other. There's happiness, what you choose, and then you live for it, it becomes your purpose. Why is it that all these other things, everything, going on trips, being with your friends, going to the restaurants, partying, taking pictures, animals, babies, your jobs make you happy or add to your happiness? But for some reason, when a man is added to your life, something you have to do for him, you become miserable. Or express that you're miserable. That's the part I'm still trying to figure out, and I can prove it. If you go onto Instagram and you type in "I hate being a mother," there's countless mothers on top of not liking to be with their men and calling themselves maids and oppressed. They don't even like their kids anymore. So they're saying they have to sacrifice too much or do so much for their kids. But what Rollo's saying is happiness is doing, and then y'all can find love and purpose in doing other things. What is this making you so most miserable? I'm not going to say it's women on the panel because it's never the women on the panel. What is making it women so miserable doing for their men and for their children today?
I can't speak to that.
I can.
I think it would be about not. I think a lot of these women probably don't feel appreciated in their relationship when they do things, or maybe they do have like that kind of brainwashed, like, no, I don't need to do this for you, make your own sandwich kind of thing, whatever. I personally love to make the people that I love in my life happy, so I love doing things for my boyfriend that he likes or whatever. And but if I wasn't feeling appreciated for doing that, then yeah, of course I'm gonna be like, well, what the fuck.
But did you notice that you didn't mention
the problem is that the appreciation
hold
isn't.
on, Jonathan. Daddy was saying something first.
Did you notice that you didn't mention him at all?
What do you mean?
So if people say this, what do you enjoy to do, Fatty, or what are the things that make you happy?
Never hear
right? Watching the season finale of The Boys, cuddling with my girl, right? Go and play basketball with Il Canali and Rollo. Like to play guitar with Michael. Like you are going to, most of the times, a lot of times of your experience, they become trash or they become awesome, not because you're doing something, but because you're doing something with somebody you love. I went to places that were awesome with terrible people, and that shit was trash. And I went on terrible places with awesome people, and that shit was awesome. I believe a lot of times it's your company and the people that you are around that makes these be awesome, happiness, and all these, or be terrible. For whatever reason, woman, my opinion, you can correct it, they like to look for the exterior when something is wrong or something is painful or something is doesn't feel good. It might be these people around me, but when they have to say good things, you see what I'm saying? Is very like the husband doesn't come first, the boyfriend doesn't come first, the kids don't come first. They never verbalize it. See what I'm saying? They will always go to places that usually are, once again, is there, is them, and anybody wants to say, because I hear the
well, I'll add to that, Fatty. You raise.
Hold on, Jonathan. I asked that question for a reason. Who does more for women? Babies, their friends, or men in general? Who does more for women? That's why I asked, if somebody gave you $50, if you gave someone $50 and they gave you $200 back, who does more for women? Is it the babies, their friends and animals, or is it men in general? Just like was it Rollo? No, Jonathan made the phenomenal point that most of everything you go to and outsource is from men. So I'm asking, who does the most for you? Animals, babies, your friends, or a man in general?
But I thought he was asking me like what I like to do outside of like
I did, and that's why I correlated. He asked you because he correlated happiness with doing, and it becomes your purpose, something that you like doing. You make a choice to it. I love pictures. I like taking pictures. Now it's my purpose. It brings me happiness. That's why he asked you. It's the doing. So when you said that, I asked you, Now we get to the point, who does more for you? Who does doing is happiness? Men find happiness in doing for women and children, right? Who does more for women? Is it
Well,
babies?
I think
Can you
if you
ask? Can you
ask,
answer?
if I think if
I,
you
I'm
ask
asking.
women, like what's your life purpose, especially if they have children,
No, I
most of
didn't
them
ask
are
that.
going
No,
to say, I
Rosie,
know,
I
I'm
didn't
going to
ask
answer
that.
your question. Most of them are
But
going to
why
say
you talking
my
about son?
children, even though they don't really do anything for them, right? Except for like give them happiness and a purpose
Yes.
in life, right? But so I don't know, like probably your partner does
You
the
you just
most
made my
for
point
you.
too.
Like,
There's another thing. What makes women feel more? Is it their animals, their children, their friends, or is it a man? So it has to bring me to three things. Either you have DNV, you have an indifference towards men or a dislike towards men that's taught and you're conditioned to feel this way, or by nature there's somewhere inside of the women where they actually don't like men and children the way they say they are. So I'm trying to figure out which one it is, because you admitted it, that the kid makes you feel happiness and feel good.
it
Your
gives you
friends,
fulfillment. Yeah.
yeah, but it's a choice. They're not doing nothing for you. The baby really doesn't do anything for you. The cat and dog, you're actually serving, you're walking the dog and cat, you're feeding the dog and cat. They're your cat and dog that does nothing for you, but your man, I'm a maid to him. I'm oppressed by him, but he does the most for you. So what makes it in a
Ali,
woman's?
I
Yes, sir, go ahead,
disagree, Ali, because feeling is what you feel towards things are not is not a choice.
No,
Like
no,
what
it
you
could
feel,
be
like what you feel.
Fatty.
You
Hold
might
on,
be you might be
real quick, Fatty.
conditioned.
Real
Go
quick,
ahead.
Fatty. Before you say, if you can teach children spiders are bad or bugs are bad or insects are bad or people are bad, if society can teach someone and condition them not to like something, like think about this: righteous men and men who are actually leaders and who try to perform in the masculine ways and want to have society be orderly, they're seen as toxic masculinity. But women will endorse gay men and trans men all day long until those men start competing with them. They're their best friends. Hey, bitch. Oh, that's my bitch. But the actual man can't call them a bitch, but they end up being their best friends, and they actually only support them because they enabled the gay man to be gay. They're the biggest supporter. So let me, and I'm landing. How are the gay men and the trans men more supported than the actual men? And you get a better feeling from those men because they make you feel good being a woman because you make them feel good being gay.
Because feelings are not connected to, like, you have several levels of subconscious activity in your brain. The things that make you feel something a lot of times are not connected with your conscious choice. So it's very probable that the person will feel happier or will have a better feeling towards people that enable them instead of people that shame them, right? If you have a strict father and you have a loving mother, it's natural that your brain will go to the loving mother, then go to the strict father, because even though the dad is doing what you need to learn, your feelings, your heart, the things that actually make you feel good is going to be the woman that pampers you and give you titty and kiss you on the forehead and says, I love you, I love you, I love you. I think that's what happened with women too. They rather go to the woman that cuddle them instead of going to the woman that correct them. Instead of go to the man that sing for them and validate them and give them money, then going to the men that actually are going to put their foot down and they're going to say, you should act this way. So feelings, unfortunately for women, is a too like is a slippery slope, because women don't even understand how their feelings actually come across. And I going back to your original question, I don't think you should care about if women are happy or not. You should definitely care about your woman be busy. You should treat them like they treat you. Women are treating men like working horses, and they are using them to go to whatever they need to go. They dangle a carrot so they can be busy and go from point A to point B to the house to the vacation and all that. I think men should do the same. You being happy is going to be fleeting. I need to make sure that you are busy and chasing any carrot, apple, orange. Chase something so you can be busy, because once women are not busy, this is when the actually problems start to happen.
My main point is they find happiness and more joy in serving everybody else, their bosses, their pastors, the army, their babies, their friends, society, and getting attention and validation from them than the actual men that take care of them and love them and respect and value. They have more respect for those people that they perform for, may not really even like, than the actual men and or their husbands.
How do you fix it?
Go ahead,
John. I think this is how you fix it. What Ollie's describing is how emotional pain is manifest. And if you understand relationship theory, you understand that when I'm married and I lose my job and now my best friend doesn't want to talk to me and I hate my in-laws. That emotional pain that I walk around with on a day-to-day basis. Or it could be the woman who's gained too much weight after children, or someone who's contracted a autoimmune disease. What happens to individuals, men and women? It's not just women that do this, it's men and women. When you walk around with emotional pain in your life, you can't blame your children. You can't blame your dog. So what happens is your emotional pain needs to go somewhere, because no one can be a container indefinitely for that. It's too painful, right? To walk around in pain without blaming someone, without having a villain, a person who is responsible for all this pain. And where do we direct that? That gets directed at our spouse. And so what happens, and I think, Ollie, what you're describing is essentially men, but women too, but in this case, men are paying fines for crimes they don't commit. So if a woman doesn't like motherhood because it changed their body and now she has got no free time anymore, that emotional pain that she feels has to go somewhere, and she directs it at her husband, right? She's not going to send it to her kids.
Sure.
She's not going to send it to her dog. It's got to go somewhere where it can be contained. So it goes automatically to her husband. So it's not by choice. It's just the default of human behavior.
But Fatty asked a great question.
How do you fix it?
Well, we've got to unwind that situation, and men have to stand up and say,
No. That's exactly what I wanted you to go. See this shit? This is what Jonathan do. This woman has a problem, and she's projecting her pain to the man. The man didn't do nothing. And what is the solution? The man needs to unwind and understand.
No, you didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish.
Hey, Jonathan, I am
Fatty, you
Jonathan.
did not let me
You
finish.
need to
You
watch
didn't
your.
let me finish.
I'm calling you out. I'm so sick of these people. You know,
You didn't let me finish.
Go
What
ahead,
he does well is he takes on the responsibility and the blame for the parts that he
Your
caused.
microphone, for whatever reason, started going in and out.
Yeah, guy wasn't feeling that answer.
Yeah,
Mr. Chosen.
you started to blame men.
The Matrix started acting up.
Okay, I'm back. What a man does is he owns what he needs to own, the 30% of her pain. But I've had women that have come to me, couples that have come to me, where women have said, I had a falling out with my best friend, and all of a sudden it's the husband's fault, right? A man's got to stay firm, and he's got to lead and say, you know what, you can't pin that shit on me. That's not my cross to bear, right? So a leader doesn't get defensive. He just stands there and says, yeah, you know what, I'll be the container for your pain, but I'm not going to be seen as the cause of your pain. So really all you're describing is, and which is what Ali was saying, is that these women are deeply unhappy with certain parts of their life, the changes, the responsibilities and everything. And what I'm saying is, with that emotional pain, they're laying it squarely at their husband's feet. Unjustly, Fatty. I'm telling you, unjustly. But it's our job as men to not accept it, to reject
Jonathan,
it.
You know, it's funny, Jonathan. Let me play this video and then, because this actually is the I'm going to play this, Jonathan, so you understand what was going to be the next topic. And it's kind of crazy that you actually gave me this audio. So let me dunk it real quick, okay? This was supposed to be the third comment. We had another one, but we're going to go with this real quick.
Sense of the advice that these men are receiving from red pill creators?
Well, on one hand, I understand why men believe in it and think that it works, because it will work on some women. It will work on women who are traumatized. It will work on some women who have an anxious attachment style or insecurities or a pattern of dating men who are not good for them. You know, they will respond to that. But I think of it in this way, like imagine you want to get a really jacked physique and be healthy and strong. You can go and take steroids and get that look faster. And you might look really powerful, but in the background, it's impairing your testosterone, your organs are getting cooked. And the second that you stop doing that, the result is going to go away. So you can.
I'm going to stop here because it's kind of funny that she's talking about artificial results.
Knows nothing about steroids.
While she has a face full of makeup and some veneers and like nothing is real, but man took the artificial pet. Okay, so my question, Jonathan, we're talking about women being hurt.
Mhm.
Does the red pill concepts only work on women that are Earth? That's the question.
It's time to duel.
And I'll get Rollo and Michael after you are done. Do red pill concepts only work on women that are Earth? We're talking about women being Earth and blaming it on men. Please give me your opinion, please.
You know, honestly, I think leadership now, masculinity is now red pill. Like for a man to be a strong man and a leader in his home is now toxic, right? And
Jonathan, are you a clone? Is this a clone? This is not the Jonathan that we Jonathan. Who are you, Jonathan? What's going on?
I'm a man who, for Amanda's benefit, can have a ton of empathy and not shame people. But I also believe in strong leadership. I do believe that as you operate in your higher self as a man and you occupy your moral high ground versus a poorer or less good version of yourself, you clean up your act, you take... I live by 5 truths: loyalty, honesty, transparency, commitment, and fidelity, right? You're living those pillars of an enlightened marriage, and that's how you lead your life. You can call your woman to the same exact standard. And when she tries to blame you for the fact that she chose to be a mother and now she's unhappy with her life, that's not 100% your fault. Maybe you didn't do enough dishes, change enough diapers. Yes, you can always do more. And if she were to ask me to do something, I'm always willing. My wife just did today. She asked me to do something. I said, sweetheart, ask me anything on the planet and I will do it. Tell me what to do. And the automatic answer is a no. And so you need to lead as a man. And unfortunately, you know, like, unlike this crazy woman that says, you know, that basically what she's saying is that men don't be masculine, don't lead. And only the men or only the women that have been traumatized will accept that. I think that's probably one of the ills of society today. Kind of, it's not all that dissimilar from Amanda's vein of, women don't need men to support them. Meanwhile, they write out that message on the iPhone that men made in the condo that the man built. That said, men need to lead, and we need to do it proudly, and we need to embrace our mature masculinity. But yeah, I don't know what else to say other than just be good, solid leaders, men. So.
And by the way, you didn't answer my question.
No, you didn't answer the question, Mr. Chosen One.
Michael, you are muted.
Michael, you're muted.
You didn't answer the question, Mr. Jonathan.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
You ran away from it.
Red pill concepts only work on broken woman, injured woman, damaged woman. Do you agree?
To be honest, you know why I didn't answer the question? Because there are some values in the red pill that, again, like I said, get conflated with leadership and masculinity. And I think it's a weaponized term, red pill. It's weaponized in a lot of ways. Like a man all of a sudden wants to be a leader in his home. Now he's red pill. I don't know much about red pill. I haven't even heard of the term until I came on the stream 6 months ago. So yeah, according to her, maybe Michael can chime in. He seems like he's got something good to say about it. But if leadership and mature masculinity is red pill, then call me guilty. So
I see what you're doing.
Mike already knows what to say.
I see what you're doing, Jonathan. Go ahead, Michael. Jonathan acting very suspicious today.
No, it's all good. I understand what he's saying. So here's the reason why. So a lot of times whenever I do a reaction video, I always try to see the underlying reason for the reaction video. And I think that Hispanic guy that was asking her question, he's this massive panderer. I think I've seen on whatever podcast before. I don't remember the guy's name.
Show it today, actually, but
the guy just panders. It literally, like, he starts from the idea that so basically the way a female panderer works is they start from the idea that men are always wrong, and women are always right, and then they work the logic backwards. So that's the context of that clip that you guys are seeing to begin with. Number one. Number two, they have to explain away the fact that I have, and it's not just me. I'll just use me as an example, but it's not just me. I have a perfect score on Trustpilot, almost perfect. So I have like 1 4-star, but everything else 5-star. I have 4,500 clients. I teach them concepts. They're not specifically red pill, but they are things that work. They need to explain away why guys like me do so well with women. And the way they do it is by saying it's those women, those unhealed women. That's always the answer. It's damaged women. And the answer is, for someone like me who's been teaching this for 18 years, I can tell you it's not damaged women or undamaged women. Number one, all of us went through childhood trauma. All of us did. So from that definition, all of us are damaged. I overcompensated for the fact that I had skinny little arms when I was in high school, so I went to the fucking gym. We're all overcompensating. So what happens is, the way it should work is, when Galileo tells the Pope that the Earth goes around the sun, the Pope can't, now that telescopes show that the moons of Jupiter, et cetera, there's all this evidence to prove that what Galileo's saying is right. The Pope now has to figure out some way to denounce him and call him a heretic and put him on house arrest for the rest of his life. These guys who are, I'm going to just call them blue pill content creators, they can't explain away the fact that Clavicular goes on a stream every day and there's just women just crawling to get in his stream. They can't get over the fact that there's just women on Call Her Daddy talking about, I don't like the nice guy. I need a guy who's rich. I need a guy who's tall. Literally, you go on Call Her Daddy and everything they're saying on the feminist podcast of record, Call Her Daddy, everything they're saying agrees with red pill concepts. They have to figure out a way to whitewash it, to make it go away. So the only thing they can do, because they look at me as like, it's creepy when an older man dates a younger woman. I was 44. My girlfriend was 21. She was 23 years younger than me when we started dating. It wasn't a choice. I didn't want a girl that was that young. I was hosting a bikini competition and she chose me, and she's fucking gorgeous. So we started dating each other. So they need to shit on me because I got a good Christian girl who was from Frog Level, Arkansas. They had to figure out some way that what I was doing was toxic or bad or whatever. But forget about me. Just completely take me out of the thing. It's the women chasing after Andrew Tate. It's the women chasing out whoever the guy is who does the toxically masculine stuff. The trail of women who follow him. I got another one. Chris Brown. Take a broke man's bitch. All this stuff. Chris Brown. He's basically spewing red pill content and has an army of women following him to the after party. It's all these women clout chasing everywhere. They have to explain it away. And the way they explain it is, it's not all women. It's just the broken women. It's just the injured women. That's the way it works. It's not that case. Women who I know who are solid women who have multiple master's degrees also chased after the dude who didn't call her back. They also have the one night stand with the super good looking guy. They also did the stereotypical red pill things that apparently only unhealed women did. Stop it. It's fucking cope. Well, I'm not saying all women are the same. What I'm saying is all women, and by the way, all men, we like men. If you see a really attractive woman, we might do some stupid shit. All men are, it doesn't mean they will, but they could. We're all subject to this. But the idea that it's only unhealed men that like women with a fat ass, that's the equivalent of what you're saying. It's Megan Fox, she's only attractive to unhealed men. No, it's bullshit. It's not unhealed men or healed men. In general, mechanisms of attraction are designed through natural selection, through evolution. And some of those mechanisms of attraction might be big fucking arms and shoulders, might be a deep voice, might be more relevancy, competency, access to scarce resources. It might mean more humor, pre-selection. It might be more social proof. Those are things women find attractive, not just unhealed women. This is horseshit, and the data does not back this up whatsoever. There's no data showing that it's women with mental disorders are the ones that are chasing after these men. No, it's not. It's not the case. You want to know how I know it's not? I have 10 women on my show. I ask them, how many of you guys have dated a narcissist? All of them raise their hand. Two weeks later, I have another 10 women on the show. How many of you? These are not sex workers. These are just a bunch of these women have normal jobs. Some of these women work in data analysts. We had a girl on last week who has two masters. How many you do real estate? How many of you ladies have dated a narcissist? All of them raise their hand. 2 weeks later, how many of you ladies have dated a narcissist? All of them raise their hand. It's not unhealed women. It's just women. And they have to figure out a way, because one of the main problems with criticizing me or criticizing Rollo is all the guys who come out and say, what you taught us changed our lives.
That little black book, you didn't have that? You ain't had no rebuttal, no response. That's why I thought you. That's it. Okay, never mind. I thought you had something to say. That's why I broke you up there. I thought you were like, what?
He's muted. He's
no,
muted.
no. I made a face because he said he didn't have a choice in dating a 21-year-old, and I just thought to myself,
Oh no, it's not that I didn't have a choice. She picked me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, nothing's wrong. I just got criticized for it.
I don't think that.
Why did he get criticized for it?
Oh, because she was so much younger than me. So
Well,
the
what's
problem
wrong?
is, I'm on your side. I agree with you. I understand what the point you're trying to make. I just want to let you know I agree with you. The difference is, do you guys remember Carol O'Connor, the first year of All in the Family, 1970 CBS, fat guy with a gut, gray hair, drinking beer, smoking cigarettes? Carol O'Connor, when he did that first season, was a year younger than I am right now. We now can do things as men to stay in better shape longer and maintain our attractiveness at a later age. Because of that, younger women, that we're not grooming them or, we're pursuing them. No, sometimes those women find us attractive. They're choosing to date older men because we have decided to maintain relevancy, to read the right books, to stay in the right shape, to have the right career, to support the right philanthropies, to be a great speaker and a great leader. We have chosen to do so as older men. I'm almost 50 years old. And when I turn 50, I'm going to be more relevant than most people were when they were 30 years ago. I'm about to turn 50 years old. So my whole point is men can stay relevant. So I agree with you. The point is my girlfriend, if I had been overweight or unattractive or just not let myself go, of course, a 21-year-old goddess like that would have never gone out with me. Of course, I had to maintain a level of attractiveness. But you and I agree. Like, I don't think there's anything weird about me dating someone younger. It's just a lot of other people thought so.
I was hoping that somebody else would disagree with it so that I could debate them on it because I really don't see the harm in it.
Well, I'm typically against age gap relationships.
Oh, really? I'm happy y'all came here. Well, hey, go ahead, y'all. I want to hear your perspectives. Yours and Little Black Book, because we're gonna show you today how much women lie about that as well too. But go ahead.
Yeah. So what's wrong with it, Ghosty? What's wrong with an age gap relationship, provided that both parties are of legal age?
Right. So I think it can work in slim cases, especially when you're talking about like celebrities or something like that. It's kind of a little different. Typically, like those women kind of understand what they're getting into. Like I'm 30, and if I like, and I know you're gonna say it's different, because I'm a woman, but like just even like talking to or being friends with people in their early 20s just makes me very uncomfortable. They are in a completely
how it would work though.
different.
You'd be looking at an older man, right? Not a younger man.
Well, that's what I said. I knew that's how you're gonna say it. But even just like being friends with like having a 21-year-old female friend just makes me uncomfortable because she's in a completely different state of mind than I am. Like she's
selection the same as friend selection goes.
No, AVG. Ask her why. We want to know why it makes sense.
Because when I was 21, I was naive. You're just in a completely different mind state. So when people are dating, like an average 40-year-old man, if he's only looking to date women that are under 25, it's just like uncomfortable and weird to me.
Did you have older boyfriends?
Gives you the ick, right?
Did you have older boyfriends when you were younger?
No, when I was extremely young, like when I was teenagers, I had men in their 20s who were talking to me and trying to date me. And yeah, it's weird, right?
Hey, Rollo, hold on. I'm gonna show y'all something today. Hold on. So women should not be promiscuous, right? They should be virgins and wait till marriage to get married, right?
I don't care one way or the other. But
no. We gotta. I'm gonna show you how what's gonna happen is we're gonna get to a place where it correlates around what could possibly benefit a man, or where a man can deal with women in a certain capacity that women choose to deal with men as well too. But women know they use sex for power, and that's what my brother Fatty says, and men use power for sex. But the thing is, when we get to this age gap conversation or age of consent conversation, they never promote women not being promiscuous, not being on OnlyFans, not being porn stars, not calling them losers, not making them baby mamas, not being women who are using sex for their advantage, or taking advantage of men using sex by making a whole bunch of money from women. So what I want to know is, if we're saying that the age gap matters and the age of consent matters, does it mean that a woman should be extremely careful with what she does with her body, and that we should go back into the past where a woman should be a virgin until she gets married? Should women be promiscuous? Ghosty?
I mean, I don't think you have to be a virgin, but I would suggest dating your own age. I also personally believe that all sex work should be raised to 21. It shouldn't be legal for women to enter sex work until they're 21. That's my personal view.
No. Fatty asked, this is why Fatty asked you, should a 15-year-old girl be having sex with a 16-year-old boy?
I don't see a problem with that.
You see what I'm saying, y'all? This is what I'm saying.
If she's dating him, like,
it's not
I don't
about
have
the
a problem with
sex.
that.
It's about what a man is doing. It's never about what a woman's doing. The woman doesn't have to practice pussy discipline, but the man has to practice dick
no,
discipline.
if a 30-year-old woman I
let
feel the same way about older women dating younger guys. It's about a different state of
Let me land real quick. This is what the man gets shamed for what he does sexually. The woman doesn't. So they changed it when there's a double standard to where when men have sex and engage in sex, it actually demonstrates his value when he has access to women. And they'll literally call men incels if they can't get sex, when they get upset with them and tell you the truth about what they feel about men. But we had this conversation about sex. They're okay with how they use sex. They're not okay with how a man uses sex. But if we're going to have a baseline and a reference point to how we should move in sex, and men should get married and women should be get married too, then I would think the woman should make sure she's not promiscuous and wait till marriage to get married if we're going to start having a baseline or speaking about what we should be doing with sex. Because we only make the men predators. We don't call the women predators who want to get paid $25,000 per butt cheek or go on OnlyFans, and especially getting financed with married men. You're fine with that. See, women are not fine with getting cheated on, but they're fine with cheating with a man. So that's all I'm saying. As long as the woman's benefiting from sex, it's okay. But if the man's benefiting from sex, it's not okay.
I just want to say this before. I want to say this before y'all go, right? The problem with the age gap situations is because y'all assume the worst for the man and the best for the woman. Okay, that's the only problem. Is you assume the man is the worst man at 40 and the woman is the best at 21. Let me actually tell you this: Little Black Book, Fatty, Ilkan Ali, Rollo, Michael Sartain, and Jonathan. All of us were way worse version of ourselves at 21 that when we are in our 30s, 40s, and 50s. Look at Michael. Michael can offer his girlfriend a lifestyle. He's more responsible than he was when he was 21. He has more money. He has things. He has a mind now. He has experiences. The fact that y'all think that the 21-year-old is in better hands dating a 21-year-old man that is full of testosterone and hormones, wants to fuck everybody, has no life experience, no house, no car, no nothing, going college acting crazy, instead of dating the more secure, more respectful, more like grounded version of that said man at 40, is ridiculous. That woman is in more danger than she is when a guy is 40, 50. And you know why? Because I was young. You know how many times you do some dumb shit just because you are young and you don't know nothing and she doesn't know nothing, and y'all are putting each other in danger because y'all doing things that you shouldn't be doing by the age. Like maturity, y'all can say that y'all like mature man and responsible man and reliable man. And then when I put you a Michael Sartain that is 40 and a Michael Sartain that is 20, you go with the guy that is 20 because you think the older one is going to take advantage of her. No, he's more mature. He's more responsible. He knows what to do. He's not going to try to tell her, come to my house in a bus, let me nut on you and a morning after pill and you go home. This is what we used to do when we were younger. You get a glass of water and a towel, and you get no more than that. You get the McDonald's. You get running from your parents. A respectful and irresponsible man is going to do more for you than a knucklehead at 21. So once again, y'all don't need to assume the worst in men on their 30s and 40s, because men usually actually become more calmer, more reasonable, more experienced with time. They don't become more reckless. That shit doesn't happen usually.
Would you agree that there are like certain predatory men that just want to date young women because they're young and hot and they just want to use them?
I think he's taking issue with the word predator.
You see,
You
one
agree
second.
that exists,
No, one
though,
second.
right?
Ghosty.
That doesn't exist. I'm fucking crazy.
Ghosty. You just did what I literally accused you of doing. Assuming
I'm asking you if you think that exists.
Let me finish. The question is, yes, And I'm going to do this, right? Go see. I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to give you a locker room of veteran basketball players that used to play when they were younger, and they meet at Friday. They are all 30, 40, and 50, and they play basketball. They have regular lives, regular jobs, and all that. And I'm going to give you a locker room of 19-year-olds in high school or first year of college. I have to recommend a woman to date one person in this locker room. Who is a locker room that probably has more dangerous behavior, more risky behavior? Like, who do you think is the locker room that actually is going to put women in more danger? The first one, 19-year-old inexperienced people that never lived nothing, full of hormones, trying to discover the world, want to fuck everybody, or the locker room or experienced 40 years old, even though both of them probably have bad people there. Which one do you think the woman is more in danger?
I don't think age has much to do with whether a person is dangerous.
Thank you very much.
It's
Checkmate.
not.
Checkmate yourself. You just checkmated yourself. Congratulations.
Got your ass.
Repeat your
It's not-
words. No, 1 second.
So I can't
Repeat-
finish?
No,
Okay,
repeat
that's
your
fine, you can
repeat.
talk.
1 second. Repeat your words with me. Age has nothing to do with what?
With if somebody is a dangerous person, that doesn't mean that there isn't an
That's the
imbalance between. So being 19 years old or being 40 years old doesn't determine if you're going to
No,
be more
that's the
dangerous.
point.
But there is still an imbalance between a 19-year-old and an older person.
No,
So-
Ghost. You have to listen to. I'll let you finish. You have to listen to yourself.
I know what
by
I'm
your-
saying. I know what you think this is like. I get it.
Even by your standards, you admitted it. There's bad 19 years old and there's bad 40 years old. So you have to. So what is in science? You have to take that because there are going to be bad people of every age. So you are not going to say, I have a problem with this 40-year-old dating this 20-year-old because I can replace the 40-year-old for a 20-year-old, and just because he's bad, he's going to do the same damage
Yeah,
as
she
the
can end up in a
40-year-old.
dangerous relationship with anyone at any age. I agree, but there
No,
is
so
still.
my only thing was, aren't they all? Isn't there an imbalance in every? Like, I don't know you very well, but I think I can bench press more than you. Like, there is an imbalance in every relationship. There's always going to be an imbalance. Like, I don't know. Does that make sense? Also, you want to know
Yeah,
the other
but
imbalance?
mentally, it's just-
she got way more. She got way more attention when we walked down the street. 100x more attention than I did. There's also that imbalance. There's always going to be an imbalance. We're not the. I'm
Yeah, of
100
course.
pounds heavier than her. So, but you said something also. You know, we have women who can make the cognitive decision to do virtual sex work, and we don't shame them for that. We also don't shame women for dating Leonardo DiCaprio. We don't shame them for that. But at some point, you're like, well, there's a cognitive disadvantage. I promise you, if any of these women had voted for Kamala Harris, nobody would have thought it was a cognitive disadvantage. If I joined the military at 18, there is nobody making YouTube videos being like, look at what he did. The government took advantage of him. No one says that. No one. And the reason why is because I'm a man. At 18, as a man, I am fully responsible for my decisions. But for some reason, for a woman who decided to date Leonardo DiCaprio, for her, it was a healthy preference to date a movie star. For him, he's grooming. That's the double standard.
Well, like, again, as I said, I think like with celebrities, it's like a little bit different. Like especially like women in LA who are like in these, they kind of, I don't know, it's different from like a random 18-year-old in Oklahoma versus like an 18-year-old model living in LA who's like going to
Well, how about
like
this?
those are two
Grooming is
completely
grooming.
different people.
It doesn't matter what the age is. Grooming is grooming. It doesn't
And
matter what the
I
age is.
agree that there are some age gap relationships that can work, that are genuine. Like I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just from my experience, there are a lot of older men who only want to date younger women for what I would consider just wrong reasons. It's because they're hot.
What
and
are
they're
those
sexy.
reasons again?
What are those reasons?
What are the reasons again?
No, let her tell her the reasons, y'all.
Yeah, what are the reasons to go see?
Because
Wrong reasons.
they're naive. They think they can shape their life into the way that they want. They want to like
No,
teach
there's
them
one
things.
reason. There's one reason, Ghosty. It's
And
only
it's
one.
for sex. It's for sex because they're hot, they're young, vulnerable.
But a 19-year-old
Yeah,
dates
be- yeah,
They're
because
hot.
woman-
There's no other reason. It's just they're hot. There is no.
They're-
I'm not saying. By
I
the
mean,
way, I
Andrew
date
Tate
women.
has literally talked about this. Like, I like to date younger women because I can shape their minds, and they're naive and they're
Andrew
stupid.
Tate, but Andrew Tate is one of the 4 billion men on the planet. I'm not
Okay,
saying that
and there's
doesn't
a lot
happen.
of
I'm
other
saying
men
in
who
general.
think like that.
Can you tell me, hey, Michael, can she tell you what most women 18 years to 50 years, what woman is not dating for money and sex? Which one is not
Yeah,
dating for money?
my
and
point
sex?
is there are just
Can you
as
tell
many
us,
women.
like women, we literally said women have their fun phase and their hoe phase, and a lot of them gold diggers, and they want something for their cooperation and submission.
Well,
but it's plausible. It's plausible. It's plausible deniability. That's what it is.
There's more women who date men for money and clout than men who are older who could possibly date younger women. It's not even comparable.
I agree. That's wrong too.
I
I think it's wrong for women to use men for money and
why
shit.
is it wrong for a woman to date for money or clout? What is inherently wrong?
Because I feel like that's I personally feel like that's a shallow relationship. It's a shallow materialistic relationship, and if you're only dating him for money,
who are you to judge and say that?
I'm allowed to judge, right? I'm allowed to have more judgment. She's allowed to do that, and I'm allowed to judge her.
One mic. Hold on, Ghosty. That's a great question that Chosen answered. Why can't a woman have sex for money and just have sex because she likes sex? Why can't she do that?
She can. I feel like it's shallow. I feel like love should be deeper than that. I don't personally agree with materialistic relationships, just dating someone for materialism.
you support a woman, whether she's 18 or 50, that wants to just have money because she wants to date. Hold on,
They can do what they want. I'm just going to judge them for it.
Again.
I know, Fatty. Can I finish it, Fatty? I'll let you finish it.
No, it's because she contradicted herself.
I know.
It doesn't like Ghosty. Love is the most important thing, even though there's money and sex. If they're 20 years old, loves Michael Sartain, why she shouldn't be with him for love?
She can. I'm not saying his relationship in particular is bad.
There's an example.
Feel
Ghosty, there's an
uncomfortable with age gap relationships, and I have a lot of experience of bad intentioned age gap relationships.
Ghosty, there's an example.
That's all
If
I'm
a 20 Ghosty, woman fall in love with their mentors all the time. Since high school, y'all fall in love with your teachers. You go to college, you fall in love with your tutor, with your pastor, like you fall in love with your coach. What is the problem? Since the beginning of time, women fell in love with men that had more power, charismatic, funny, and all these. So if this woman
at that age, they're naive.
So
they don't understand everything, and the older person does. They have a better understanding and more experience.
What if she's naive and she truly loves that man that is 40? What's the problem? She loves him.
She doesn't know she truly loves that man because she's naive and inexperienced and stupid.
She doesn't know she doesn't know she loves him. Ali, I'm sorry for interrupting you. Ghosty, this is crazy.
She's too inexperienced to make that
decision. She can still drive a car,
like,
join the military, smoke cigarettes, do virtual sex work. In those places, she's never criticized for her decision.
Well, again, I said I would raise the age of
no.
sex
Hey, Michael. But Chosen already told her, and they know it. They try to get it with the guys they call assholes, and they passed over the good guys, and they know they were deliberately dealing with the guys who had money, who had the reputation, and men that they want to deal with. They know they weren't good guys, and they know they were moving that way as well too. They weren't being naive. These women knew exactly what they were doing from 18 all the way to 50.
Yeah,
so again,
if
you support, hold on real quick, Michael, hold on real quick. These women, these are the same women that support feminism and sexual liberation. These are the same women that support they can do whatever they want to do with their bodies, then turn right back around and tell us they're naive and don't know what they're doing when they're building a whole empire off of sex.
I don't think Ghosty's being that draconian. I understand what you're saying. Your point in general, like in a vacuum, what you're saying is correct. I don't think that's what she's saying. Well, the point I was trying to say before is, because she's not being hypocritical. She's saying she thinks women dating for money is also bad. I grasp that concept. The point is, I think maybe Ghosty might be missing here is, in general, younger men under 25 are never, in general, not you, Ghosty. You have a different set of morals.
Hey, Michael, Michael, respectfully, brother. That's 3 times she said something, and you pull her right back out of it like she doesn't know any better. That's 3 times you did that. Now we'll get on Mr. Chosen for it, but
I'm trying to be nice.
But that's why our women remain the way they are, and people watching, the young girls feel like they have the opportunity to do that. So we mislead everybody. You know what? That's the part of red pill that sets men and women up for disappointment as well too, because we are pushing up and making men into the women that they can use. We build these men up to be men that women can use. That
was my point. What you're saying is that was my point. My point is before, just let's just say 25 and under, when men do things 25 and under, they're not told, hey, you are too stupid to know to do this. When women are 25 and under, then it's like you shouldn't be dating someone who's 40. That was my only point, is that there's a double standard For me,
Yes,
for
sir.
me, when a man, and the best one I can think of is enlisting in the U.S. Army. You listen to the U.S. Army, there's not a bunch of podcasts that are out there being like, why is the military? There's not a bunch of women who want to marry these men saying, why is the U.S. military taking advantage of these men? No one does.
I'm against that too. Like,
yes,
that's my personal opinion. I think 18 is too young.
Sure. Let's just say I enlisted at 26. I was an officer at 26. Let's just say I joined. There's no cadre of women trying to defend and saying I'm being groomed or taken advantage of. No one is saying this, because my choices as a man in general by society are my choices, and I have to take responsibility for them. But when a younger woman wants to date Leonardo DiCaprio, then she's too young and immature. No, I wasn't too young and immature, so she's not too young and immature. And I know a lot of women who are of sound mind. One other point I want to make. Women, before, especially if they're really attractive, they're approached by more men and are more socially adept than men are at the age of 21. As soon as they go through puberty, men are constantly approaching them. They have more social acuity than most men do at 40. They do. So the idea, whenever I see these women all the time online taking advantage of men, they are more technologically advanced than men are at that same age because of OnlyFans, dating apps, social media, and men approaching them. They are more socially acute. I actually think that men, even if you had a 25-year-old man and a 25-year-old woman, the man is at a massive disadvantage. So I think from a intellectual standpoint, I think women are not maybe intellectual, but the idea of using leverage, a 21-year-old woman who has a lot of followers on social media propositioning her and giving her money has way more leverage than a 40-year-old man. That's my point.
Ghosty, can you please he made the statement and you kind of saying what he's saying, but he said it on the way that I actually like it. Young women are stupid. They are. Do you agree with that, Ghosty?
They're naive. Yes.
No, I didn't ask if they are naive. Michael Sartain said
naive, which leads them to make stupid decisions. Yes.
So young women are stupid, right?
They often make stupid decisions. Yes.
Okay, so they are stupid. I just wanted to actually clarify this statement because there's a thing. I will accept it. I'm not even going to comment on it. Ali, and then I need to go around the panel because now we are on the age gap conversation. I need to know Little Black Book, Amanda, AVG, Rollo, and Jonathan opinion. Okay, so Ali, take it home, and then we go.
Hey, Michael, you and Tommy look like y'all been around the block, and I mean around the block with the ladies as well too, and y'all well versed. This is one of their superpowers. Is using their beauty and sex to play dumb, and they get us to play dumb for them as well too. If this was a different conversation, they'll tell you they're the most educated, they got the most degrees, they're the leaders of society now. But all of a sudden, these women were so naive. They even say they mature faster than us at a younger age as well too. But when the conversation is fitted to make them look naive and slow and being taken advantage of to make the man look bad, then all of a sudden they can't think. And that's why it's phenomenal what Fatty just asked. So if women are stupid, do we need to change the laws for them to change the age of everything to 25 when they can drive, when they can smoke, when they can drink? Do they need chaperones wherever they go? If it's naive and stupid, is it imperative that they should need a man?
No, Ali, no, older man.
Oh yeah.
Right? If you are young and dumb, it wouldn't be awesome to get the experience older man with more.
If women are so dumb and naive.
Ghosty, listen to me.
Ghosty. I did listen. There's different levels to different things.
Ghosty, 1 second.
So,
Ghosty.
like driving versus dating someone. Okay, just repeat.
Ghosty, 1 second. Listen carefully, right? Ghosty. No, it's because you're not listening. Ghosty.
I did listen.
No, you're not, because listen to what we said before. You know what? You know he's young and dumb too? Man.
Yes, I agree.
19-year-old men are young and dumb. 21-year-old men are young and dumb. So, Ghosty, if you have a young and dumb woman and you need to pair her with somebody, wouldn't be ideal to pair her with somebody that is not young and dumb, meaning is a more older, experienced, more responsible? Isn't that the perfect thing? You get the person that is young and dumb and you pair them with somebody that actually is not young and is not dumb?
No, because the younger person is at a disadvantage in that relationship.
Oh my God.
You're on the same level with somebody when you're dating someone at your same age. That's all.
So who the basketball NBA players, these young NBA rookies that are dating these buzzer beater old women that are trying to get money and get impregnated by these men, who's at a disadvantage? Is it the men or is it those old women getting impregnated by them?
Wait, what's going on?
older
the
women.
Brittany Renner effect.
These older women are getting impregnated by rookie basketball players, young basketball players, to get taken care of for the rest of their lives, and they're older women. Are the men getting taken advantage of? Are the young men getting taken advantage of? Or they don't know they're having sex with these women?
They are obviously aware, but they're on a different mental wavelength. So they could be making a bad decision that they think right now is good, and then 5-10 years later, they're like, wow, that was really fucking stupid
Just like
of me.
everything else.
Now that I have all of the life experience I do, I realize that I shouldn't have been making that decision.
Ghosty, you know why this is problematic? Everybody at 25 said that shit at 35. Everybody at 45 said that shit at 35. There's not the 60-year-old man that says, oh man, I was doing all the right decisions at 35. We keep doing stupid shit year after year, decade after decade, and when you look back, you say, I shouldn't have done that. This is not a 20-year-old thing.
Difference.
No, this is not a
Brain
20-year-old. No, this is not a 20-year-old thing, Ghosty. This is a life thing. You're always going to look back at your youth 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and see the places where you actually fucked up. It's not just, it's 20 and 30, so now I'm regretting this shit. Life is regret. Go ahead, Michael, and then when he's done, please, the rest of the panel, we need to talk
Michael,
about
hey, don't make me have to close my camera, man. Stop trying to take our women, man.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, a couple things. Number one, I need to go to the gym because my current girlfriend's 18 years younger than me. So I'm going to go right now. I have to go. But I would like to invite all of you. I just started my own live stream. I'm learning how to do it. I'm actually teaching my clients how to live stream and build their personal brands. And so I'm going to put in the private chat, there's the link to my live stream. If any of you guys want to join me, Rollo's going to come on. We're going to be doing reaction videos, all kinds of stuff, a little bit different than the panel show. You guys that are on this show right now, you guys are welcome to join me in 90 minutes at 7 p.m. Vegas time. I would love to have you guys join, and all the people that are watching, if you guys want to come on and join. And then at the end of the live stream, we're only going on Kick, Rumble, and X, and we're going to say whatever the F we want to say. Make sense? So it's going to be a freedom of speech live stream if you guys want to join us at 7 o'clock. But other than that, I got to get out of here. This is a great panel here. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you very much, Michael. We're going
Appreciate
to
it, guys.
Thank you so much,
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah.
We're going to drop all the links for yes, sir, for you and Rollo. We had some outro links, but I can find them. But I will make sure that we play them before they're gone. Rollo, you have to leave too. Do you have any final thoughts?
I have to go join Mike.
Yes, sir. Do you have any final thoughts, Rollo?
No, I kind of wanted to go back a little bit to that the one video with that girl talking about the red pill this and the red pill that, and it kind of comes full circle to what we were talking about in the beginning here. And I think what's happening right now is there's sort of this misunderstanding of what the red pill actually is. Okay, the red pill is not an ideology. It's not a philosophy. It's not a set of best practices. It's not a belief set. It's just information. What you do with that information is what defines your brand or whatever. So if you think the red pill is just Andrew Tate or Myron Gaines or whoever you saw on the last the Manosphere movie or something like that, you think it just happened half an hour ago. I've got news for you. I've been doing this for about 24 years now. So it's been in the red pill itself is not a bumper sticker. It's not I can't give you an elevator pitch. I can't tell you like what the red pill is in 5 minutes. Okay. It's a college major is what it is. It's something you have to like understand and be involved in. So when people are talking about the red pill is this, the red pill is that, it's like, I can tell when I've been doing this long enough to know when people are speaking from a position of ignorance, and really that's all that video really was speaking from a position of ignorance. And again, it's not there's a difference between being stupid and there's a difference between being ignorant. Okay, being stupid means you don't have the actual brain, there's something brain damaged, right? You don't have the structure there to understand what's going on. Then there's ignorance, which means you're still a smart person, you just don't know what somebody is talking about, or whether that's by choice or that's just simply by chance. Being ignorant about something, I can excuse stupidity. Actually, it's when people who are deliberately, confidently ignorant about what they're talking about. That's when things get skewed, and really that's where we're at right now, where the quote unquote red pill is, or the manosphere. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that there's a lot of good that is done, and a lot of progress, and a lot of constructive stuff. A lot of substantive conversations are happening in the manosphere. but you'll never fucking see them because they get overshadowed by HS Tiki Taki or Sneeko or the biggest idiots with the loudest voices. I should say that with the most clippers, with the people who have the kick accounts that have 1,610 clippers to pump out 2 billion paid views per month. You will never. I can't compete with that. I can give you the highest quality stuff I can possibly do, and people will say, well, how come I don't know about you? Well, that's why, because right now the algorithm and the way that hell, even AI right now, the way that it works is they found out how to game the algorithm. And so you're never going to get the real story. So you're going to listen to these people pop off with a 45-second buzz clip or something that appeals to this mass ADHD right now, where it's got to be, can't even be 45 seconds. It's got to be like 30 seconds right now. And it has to be as outrageous as it possibly can be. And then we move on from there. And then we form an opinion after 30 seconds of watching whatever it is. And we never dig into it. Maybe it was even just a 3-minute video that would have helped you get some context. Maybe it was a 10-minute video. Maybe it was a 2-hour video that would have really enriched your life. You're never going to know about it because there's too many people who just want all their purpose to brand build is to misappropriate and to misconstrue everything that any good that anybody could possibly do here. So I think there's a lot more positivity that's going on in the red pill spaces. I think there's a lot more positivity going on in the manosphere spaces, but you're never going to hear that from the mainstream, which is why I told Myron and Fresh but way back in 2021, and they asked me, do you think the red pill is going to go mainstream? My first answer was, I hope not. Because the minute it does, you have all these bad actors that come into play. And I mean, literally, I feel like I had a crystal ball back then because everything I predicted back in 2021 has happened since then. And it's disappointing to me because, as I said, I've been in this space for 24 years. I'm 6 books in right now. I wrote The Rational Male. People don't know what to do with me because I've been married coming up on 30 years now, happily married. Thank you very much. I live in Vegas. I work with the most beautiful women in the world. I work with Mike Sartain. I've got a lot of different irons in the fire. And that's the thing is nobody wants to have me on their show because I don't fit their narrative. In fact, I ruined their narrative because their narrative was created by a 45-second buzz, just like the one you just saw a minute ago. And that's all people are going to form their opinions on. So anyways, if you want to talk about that more, I'm going to be over on Mike's stream here in a little bit. But it's been great, guys. I love doing
thank you so much, brother.
Everybody,
thank you very much for your time, sir. We appreciate it.
Fantastic. So I'll see you guys later. All right, bye.
Thank you very much. I'll see you later.
Hello.
So, Mr. Little Black Book, nice to see you back, sir.
And your guns, man.
They were talking about, and my PC is just going crazy.
I said, and your guns.
I thought it was just me, but my PC be doing madness too. So
yeah. That's kind of crazy. Can we just stick here with the age gap thing for a second? Like, what do you think about those? Do you think they are problematic? Do you think that you're in favor of that? Like, what do you actually think about it?
I'm gonna say just because you can doesn't mean you should. You understand what I'm saying to you? Just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? So there are some things in life that you can do, but you should be aware of the fact that it's not everything you need to do. I think a 20-year gap, and I didn't get to ask Mike, obviously. My thing was, why the hell? Why? Why
not?
But my thing is, for me personally, and again, it might come down to the mental aspect. What does a 20-year-old got to a 40-year-old?
So I'll give you an example that you probably understand, right? I've been looking to your social media. You look like you are having a great time. You're traveling, dancing, having fun, and all that, right? Wouldn't that be awesome for you to give the first experience of what you're feeling like now to a person that you love and admire and love, instead of somebody that's been doing that for 20 years?
What do you mean?
It's awesome. Like, you know, the Titanic thing? When she does the I'm the king of the world, so that if you do that, if it's the 7th time somebody actually went through that with you, that shit is nothing. That shit is terrible, right? You remember the first time you went to Egypt You remember the first time you danced on Aruba. You remember the first time that you were on a Valentine's Day to Rio, which like you don't want to be the third person to take the love of your life to Rio. You want to give her the first experience so she actually feel it like it's something that y'all share in common. Woman ate that too. The worst thing you can give to a woman is a woman cooks a nice plate to you, the best plate, and in conversation, you say, there was somebody before you that cooked this nasty lasagna that I love. It might be not like you might not want to hurt her, but you are like she's going to look at you like, damn, there was another person before that did this for you. Dating younger women for the simple fact that they are actually fresh to new moments, to new ideas, to new feelings is awesome. Is way more awesome than actually dating a 40-year-old that actually is well traveled, have experienced 3 great Valentine's days with 3 ex-boyfriends and all these things. Is a different feeling. So just because of that, why shouldn't you do it?
Again, I'm going to say it, right? Age is a factor, but it's not a factor, right? So, for instance, mental capacity or mental maturity and emotional maturity do come with age, but don't come with age, right? For instance, there are 40-year-old people who can be mentally mature, but emotionally are stunted, right? And there are 20-year-olds who can be somewhat emotionally mature and somewhat mentally mature as well, right? But the majority of people, we're talking about general principle of a 20-year-old and a 40-year-old, they are not even in the same capacity mentally usually, and they're not in the same capacity emotionally. Therefore, I'm questioning what if he's a mature individual emotionally and mentally, I'm questioning why you'd want to be with a 20-year-old. You know what I mean? For me personally,
yeah, sure.
I'd question that.
Because relationships are nothing about maturity. Most of women are immature until the day they die. I need you. Hey, Little Black Book, you are hilarious. Do you need another hilarious person, or you need somebody to laugh off your jokes?
You can't compare humor to mental and emotional maturity. Relationships are not built on a bedrock. No, hold on. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Relationships are not built on a bedrock of humor. They are built on a bedrock of emotional attunement and attachment. You build those things, and,
you are wrong.
Also to maintain it. I'm talking about maintaining. I'm talking about attaining somebody. If you want to grab somebody, I can grab somebody at 20. I don't need emotional maturity to grab somebody. We're talking about maintaining a relationship.
Do you need what? Can you repeat that again? Do you need what?
To maintain a relationship, not attaining. Maintain, right? The same way that when you get a car, you can buy a car, but to maintain, you have to do things with it. A relationship is maintained when people are able to keep the emotional connection alive. In order to continue that, in most people's cases, you need emotional maturity as well as a mental maturity. So
no, you don't.
I'm asking.
No, you don't. Emotional maturity and emotional connection. You can be emotionally connected to a puppy. That motherfucker is dumb as a motherfucking rock. He loves you and you love him. Every time he sees you, and every time you see him, you love him. We fell in love with rocks. Hey, Little Black Book. My ex-girlfriends, hey, God praise them. I don't want to talk shit. They were not, no, they were not, respectfully, I didn't love them because they were very intelligent and had the depth. And they were, no, but one second, sir. Emotional.
I don't understand this. Why do you invite me?
No, you are. You know what? One second. You are right.
Come on.
This is emotional intelligence. I'm wrong. You are right. Finish your point.
No, go on, man. You already started, didn't
it? No. You are displaying low emotional intelligence right now by not accepting my apologies when I was emotional intelligent and I said I was wrong.
Go on. You've already started.
Bro. No. You have to show emotional intelligence right now. And since
you're still doing it, you're showing.
But he conceded.
No, it's because I concede. Yeah, you see, hey, this is relationships, right? This is what these people do. You need to be emotionally mature. I showed emotional immaturity. I interrupted you. I apologize. Please go along. No, you keep doing your thing, man. Are you showing emotional immaturity? Go ahead. It's fine. I was wrong.
Go on. I don't even have my point anymore. Go on. You know.
But hey, and this in real time, friends. This is what we deal with our woman. I made a mistake, and I apologize. This is the most emotionally mature I can show. I interrupt you in middle of the statement, and I took it back, and I says, you know what? You are totally right.
I apologize. Finish your thought. And instead of you rewarding me, you are punishing me for literally show emotional restraint and give you the microphone. I was wrong.
So you see how somebody who is emotionally less immature is going to cause more problems with somebody who is emotionally more immature, right? No. They're just not mentally compatible. They're not able.
Hey,
it's going to cause a lot more problems.
Hey, one second.
Good question.
Me and these men are on our 30s.
I know. I'm making an example of what you're trying to.
So who was emotionally immature on this back and forth?
I'm just making an example.
Since you make an example,
you
tell me.
You interrupted him. I think he maybe forgot what he was going to say, and now you guys are at an impasse.
But that was not the question.
I'm using this as an example to show why there's going to be a lot more issues in relationships that are at two different mental maturities. But in most cases, it's not certainty, but very likely that's what's going to happen.
So who was emotionally immature, since you use it as an example, on this exchange?
I guess because you apologized and said, "Oh, I was wrong. Go ahead." You're showing some kind of emotional maturity. Sure.
How did somebody demonstrate emotional maturity?
It doesn't help, because your feelings is your feelings. If you get on your feelings, there's nothing I can say to get you out of your feelings. Do you see how irrelevant this is, the emotional maturity thing? When people get on their feelings, I'm
showing its relevance.
No, when people get on their feelings, nothing goes through them. Because they will be emotionally mature when the car is parked, as soon as they eat the Phoenix desert, Arizona desert, and now you actually need maturity and you need strength because the car is going through a level of stress. They should stop working. There's most people.
So do you think a 20-year-old is going to be able to mentally handle the same mature adult issues as like a 30-year-old or a 35-year-old? A 20-year-old is not typically going to be ready to handle those adult mature issues as another 30-year-old
So
would
Ghosty,
be.
My point was, as somebody that been dating for a while, women that are older, the average woman at 35 is not emotionally mature. My mom is married with my dad for 40-something years. She's 60-something. When she gets on her feelings, there's nothing I can say. And she's an experienced woman that did their duties and did their things, still married and all these things. But once she gets on her feelings, the maturity goes out of the window. There's no place where she stops in the middle of a conversation and says, you know what? I am wrong, baby. You got it. And what I was trying to show Little Black Book is I had lack of impulse control. So because I had lack of impulse control, and I know this is not the first time, because we've been talking about this, about the interruptions, I showed emotional restraint and I stopped myself and I apologize, not in a funny way. I apologize. But that's the thing. When people don't want to hear you, or when people get on their feelings, the same people that asking you for emotionally maturity show that they're emotionally mature. Because this is a conversation about the conversation. And if I can cause this on him, what do you think I cause on a woman that I love and I care and is around me and I'm upset with her? It's going to be even worse. So now we stay over here.
So it's going to be even worse for a less emotionally mature person.
Well,
I'm not saying everyone in their 30s is emotionally mature, but everybody in their 20s is most likely going to be even less emotionally mature, and they just might never mature.
So why Little Black Book is in his 30s? Why didn't have a positive reaction since he's mature?
I think he just forgot what he was going to say, and he was frustrated that you interrupted him. I think you're making it a bigger deal than it has to be. But
this isn't the first time I spoke to him about interruptions when we're talking. One thing I like is respect. You pull me up about my respect, and then when I pull you about my respect, that's all I'm asking for, right? Number two, I actually have forgotten what I'd said. So I said, go on. There was nothing immature about me saying go on. Go on. You've already started, so finish the point. I never punished you. That is actually the gaslighting that happened in that moment. I never punished you. I said, go on. I don't have a point anymore. You already started, so go on, finish the point. That is it.
No, you make a comment. You interrupted me, which is a remark of correction. And I said, you know what? You are right. I truly interrupted you. You know what the follow-up thing would be? Fatty, thank you very much for admitting guilt, but I forgot what I said, so you can keep going. And now all of a sudden, two mature people are having the conversation. You will remember what you were saying, and we can have a conversation. It was not gaslighting. You need to be a better communicator. You have to tell me, I don't remember what I was going to say, so now I can actually take the accountability and go forward, carry the conversation until you remember. When you fall back and you're like, and you do the and your body language is all fucked up, I think you just lost interest or you are upset. And this is what we do with our woman. What's going on, baby? No, you go on. Nothing. You got it.
No, fantastic. You saw that I'm upset. I didn't say I wasn't upset, number one. And number two, you've highlighted the fact I was emotional in that moment. Fine, not a problem. That's not a punishment. Me getting upset about what you've done, it's not a punishment against you. That's the gaslighting I'm talking about. There is no punishment here. You've done something to me. Let's say you stepped on my toes, and I get upset about you stepping on my toes, and you're telling me I'm punishing you for getting upset. That is the gaslighting. There's no punishment here.
Can I explain why? Can I explain why?
Go on.
Can I explain why? If you did something to hurt me, right? Or you did something that caused me to be on emotional distress, and you want to correct, you want to, you kind of understand what you did, and you come to me and you say, Fatty, I apologize if I actually did this and this. I apologize. And instead of me saying, I appreciate that, sir, thank you very much, I'm like, cryptic messages, not addressing the issue, doing like a body language that show that I actually am hurt without actually saying that I'm hurt. That's the gaslighting, because you want to stick on the position of victim. This is what happens a lot of people is, I did something wrong towards you. I go to you and apologize because I'm clearly wrong. And because you want to stay on the victimhood status, because that gives you leverage over me, you don't want to leave that shit. You don't want to be a man and say, Ferry apologize. Ferry said he's wrong. I'm going to leave this victimhood status and I'm going to move on. You want to eld it over me. So now you're saying, this is gaslighting. I can't understand this. No, I was as a man, came to you, apologized, so emotional regulation, and told you that I was wrong. And instead of that, instead of you actually accepting it like a man, you literally responded like you are in a state of victimhood for whatever reason. I just cut you off. It's very. I don't think there's a problem with that.
No. If we all, little black book, if we all at the table, right, and we talk about emotional regulation, emotional intelligence, how you should respond, right? When he quickly did that, and you have any right to respond to it the way you wanted to as well too. Shouldn't you have practiced the same emotional regulation? And you know what? Like first you were nah, you got it. Nah, you got it. Instead of okay, you know what? You did concede to that. Let's continue the conversation, man. I forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead, Fatty. Thank you for acknowledging you were wrong. Versus continuing the being upset. That's the part. That's the part.
You can't tell me not to be upset.
No.
That's the point. You
I didn't say not to be. No, I didn't say not to be upset. What happens is, so me and Fatty. You're a coach too, and so is Chosen. The recovery rate is what makes us get back into the position of being able to have the conversation. Right? When you hold on to it, then the person has the justification to respond back or hold or even take it back and say, hey man, my apology isn't even good enough. You know, if since you mad at me now, you upset now you stand mad now. Okay, I conceded. Well, I have the right to be mad too then, because I didn't purposely do that to you. And then we stay in the place where now we're disconnected instead of coming together based on the recovery time. So if we truthfully, intentionally trying to have a conversation, shouldn't you establish and do the same thing? The recovery rate should be like, you have the right to be mad. No, you have the right. He cut you off. You have the right, hey man, you cut me off. But then he goes, hey man, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. You go, and you had the right, maybe hold it a little bit longer. I'm like, you know what? You did concede to it, man. Let's continue with the conversation. My bad, man. You know, it did make me upset. I have the right to be mad, but let's continue the conversation.
You know, yeah, I could have acknowledged it. I ain't gonna hold you. Yeah,
I think you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Ollie, it's really just
I'm not gonna do that.
Upset feelings and
absolutely.
It's basically. Honestly, but Little Black Book, I could just give you just a word of advice when it comes to these two cats. It's all just fun.
They know it. No, Jonathan.
He knows. He knows this. Jonathan, he knows.
No need for the disclaimer, Jonathan. We are.
We invite them because we like them.
No, we are repeated offenders when it comes to cutting people off. And Little Black Book gets upset about it. But that's the thing. I did something I shouldn't. And I took accountability for it, like in real time. I was wrong. There's no reason for this to become a 20-minute conversation, because what it actually reminds me is this is what you usually have with our woman. People ask for good communicators. No, I'm not calling you a woman. I'm saying women ask for good communicators. Is the best thing I could do. I cut you off, you reprimand me, and I said, you know what? You are right. I'm communicating that I acknowledge your feelings, and you are right. I definitely cut you off. Can you continue? And instead of saying, oh, damn, I don't get this usually. I don't get the acknowledgement of my feelings. I don't get the acknowledgement that I was wrong. Matter of fact, I didn't gaslight you. I acknowledge your feelings. Gaslighting, you would say, nah, you don't. You shouldn't feel the way you feel. You are seeing things. I actually stopped to acknowledge your feelings. So if I stop to acknowledge your feelings, you might be in a mood for the rest of the show. But like I said, if I'm being punished by actually acknowledge your feelings and assume guilt, I actually should go the opposite and go evil.
I just wanted you to go on, if I'm honest with you. Like, that's why I said go on. Like, it's dragged on because you want me to react the way that you feel comfortable with.
That's fair.
And that's the mature. That's what I'm talking about emotional. You have to be comfortable. You see, you became uncomfortable with my reaction, but I said move on. I said go on because I don't even have a point anyway at this point. I don't have it anymore. So go on.
Okay.
That's why we're having a conversation. But do you know what? I'm gonna take some accountability. I should have acknowledged your apology before I said move on. So I'll take that and I'll take that on board.
No, I want more. No, I'm kidding. Thank you very much. No, I was kidding. I appreciate it. Let's go back to the age.
Now we can sleep better at night.
Yes.
I got to sign off, guys, because it's getting super late and I haven't eaten any dinner yet.
I appreciate you, John. We're going to close in 10 minutes.
Thank you so much,
John.
Mr.
So thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you for showing us that you're actually red pill every show.
Hey, Jonathan, we need to talk about your
Ali.
Jonathan, we need to talk about your red pill ascension. Okay, we need to have a conversation about that.
We'll definitely do that again. Thank you guys so much.
On you. Okay,
pleasure to see y'all.
I appreciate
Ali,
you,
cut my stream for me if you could.
I'll make sure to do it. And friends, we're going to cut it in 10 minutes too. So I appreciate all the people that are watching on all platforms. Thank you very much to Rollo and Michael and the rest of the guests. I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. Little Black Book, the age gap thing, right? I believe that inexperience should go with experience. Tall should go with weak. See what I'm saying? Strength should go with weakness. People with money should date people with no. A power dynamic is important. It's important to establish this person is stronger than me. If something happens, it goes in front of me. I am the nurturing. I am way more nurturing than this person in front of me. So if we have to do something nurturing around the house or something, I will take the initiative because I'm doing this better than this person. When it comes to age gap, I think people fall naturally on their place because I can be very combative to a guy that is my age like you. But if I'm talking with somebody that is 60, 50 years old, it's more probable that I fall back and I literally get in my position than with a person that is my peer, right? So I think that if we look at mentors, we look up to mentors, we look up to coaches, is less of an attraction when a person is clearly above you or clearly below you. So you can be on a mentor position, on a coaching position, on a pastor position. I think relationships are the same thing. Is two people that are in two different parts on their life and that is going to complement each other because experience usually tempers risky behavior, and risky behavior makes the people that is more experienced and boring feel alive. So they kind of like a good match. I think there's a good explanation to why I think it's kind of okay. What's your thoughts about it? And then I want to go to the bottom panel so we can wrap it up. Okay. And thank you very much for all the support, friends. I appreciate y'all. The super chats are going to be read before we go.
So I think I'm not against all age gaps, right? I think the 20-year age gap was a bit much for me. I ain't gonna hold you again. I think there's a very large gap in terms of, again, going back to what I've said, mental capacity is very vastly different at 20 than it was at 40. I think most of us can agree that the thing you might be doing stupid stuff still, but at 20, the things you were doing at 20 is not the same things you're doing at 40. There's an expectation of growth as you get to those ages. Now, of course, there are some people who don't make that. I understand that, but I'm talking about the average person. We're expecting people to grow and mature. So for me at 40, I'm not even 40 myself. I'm 34 and I'm looking at somebody who's 20. I'm going, we have nothing in common, blood. Like You at 20, I thought I knew the whole world. I really did, right? If at 20, I thought I knew everything. You know what I mean? And I get to 30 and I'm like, blood, I knew nothing at 20. Knew nothing at 20. So yes, when I see somebody who is 40 telling me that they're okay dating a 20-year-old, I'm questioning your mental capacity. Then maybe you've got a mind of a 20-year-old. Maybe that's why you're dating a 20-year-old. Because I don't see how you two are meshing. I don't see how you two are with life experience of 20 years plus that person, how you really are making sense of this. You know what I mean? And for me personally, and maybe not for the guys here, but the guys that I roll with, if I told them that I was dating a 20-year-old, the way I would get slapped. Not only that, if I told them that if they had a daughter, none of us would agree, and this is my circle maybe,
I would
agree that a 40-year-old man coming for your daughter at 20, you're looking at the man like, are you dumb? Are you crazy? Are you stupid? In what world?
So
in what world?
Can I actually tackle that?
Yes,
I
sir.
will trust my daughter and my sister with you and Ali. I saw enough. I think about it. Think about it.
Just out.
I'm talking about the man on the panel. He's 42, and you are 32. I saw enough that I can trust my daughter with y'all. And you know why? Because I'm just comparing with the average knucklehead. I know she's going to date knuckleheads, and y'all are not knuckleheads. So she's 21, and I know the quality of men that Little Black Book is at 32, and I know the quality of men that Ali is at 42. I rather her dating the people that I actually know are not knuckleheads, even though they are way older than her, than dating a motherfucking 21-year-old knucklehead, because I guarantee you, Little Black Book, especially first-generation Europeans, descendant of Africans, we are motherfucking knuckleheads when we are younger. That's a fact. Go see the first generation Europeans that come from Africa, like me and you, on our teens and on our 20s. We are knuckleheads. We just do some dumb shit. So why should I want my daughter to be dating the 21-year-old version of you when I can have my daughter dating the 32-year-old version of you? You are more established. You have more money. You can give her a better shelter. You can give her better conditions of living. You can guide her. You can coach her. You are a coach. If you can coach random people, you sure can coach people that are around you every day. Why can you rub on her? And even though she might not be with you forever, she becomes a better person and more experienced. So now when her future husband actually pulls up, she says, I learned so much with Little Black Book that now I'm ready to have a husband. Like, what's wrong with that?
I think again, with a 20-year-old, you starting to coach someone, I think as well, especially that what ends up happening is you build a Frankenstein. And we all know what happened to Frankenstein and the creator. Whenever you try to start building somebody, right? When you start building somebody rather than building with somebody, what tends to happen is the person who's getting built, they finally get some maturity, they finally get some sense, they finally see the world clearly as it is, and they turn against the person. The same thing happens even in close age range groups, right? When a woman builds a man, what happens? The man tends to leave that woman. And I'm saying build a man, not build with, build a man. Whenever you're building someone, if I have to keep building you in terms of growing you and stretching you, there's probably going to come a point in time where you're going to turn around and be like, wait, hold on a minute. I know myself, I know this, and etc., etc. And what ends up happening is that relationship begins to falter because it was built on a dynamic of me teaching you. Whilst I believe there is some aspect of teaching that happens, but if I'm now your teacher in the relationship, I believe it's the wrong dynamic to begin a relationship with. I don't believe it has a good foundation long term for maintaining a relationship. For me,
but you believe in coaching?
Of course, I believe in coaching.
How? Coaching is literally an unbalanced relationship where I'm teaching you things so you can actually be better at life. Wouldn't that be something that you transport to your relationship? I do that with my younger brother. My parents did that with me. My coach did that with me. Ali did that with me. I take from different sources and I say, I want to learn real estate, so I'm going to be around the person that knows real estate, so Ali teach me something. If any person on this panel have a skill set, I have no problem on going to Amanda and say, Amanda, can you teach me this thing that you're pretty good at and I'm not? This is literally one-on-one relationships. I learned AI from a 19-year-old called Cami, and I was 33. And then you know what I do? I don't know about this. Go ahead and teach me real quick. I'll pay you for it, and we go to the sunset. Why can't I do that with my lover, with the person that I appreciate, with the person that I love, and teach him the ropes while I actually offer them a safe place so they can fall and not get hurt. I gave them training wheels. You go over there, you do this, you do that, and they actually learn and they're on the safe space because I can always grab the bike and says, you know what, let's stop over here. I think that's a beautiful thing. I actually think that most women would love to have a person like that. If they don't have it already, I think most women would love to look up to the men that they have and say, God damn it, this dude over here, if I don't know something, he finds a way of actually putting me upon game. If I don't know how to go there, even though I take pride of learning things and be better and all this, I would love to be with a man that actually can show me the ropes, can show me the world, can show me how things are done. I think most women will love that. And that's you at 32. It's not you at 22. It's you at 32, 42, 52. So, I don't know. Amanda, AVG, and Ghosty. Ghosty already said a lot of mean things about age gap relationships. AVG and Amanda, please.
I actually have to run. I don't really have a whole lot to say outside of I really like what Little Black Book was saying about there just being a difference between mental and emotional capacity, but also, like he was saying, someone who is 40 who's dating someone that's 20, they may actually be on the same mental and emotional plane. So the age gap in and of itself would really just be age is nothing but a number. So as a nurse, I take care of patients all the time who are in 80, 90, 70-year-old bodies who are 5-year-old children emotionally and mentally. And that's your average person. So we're not all, the age isn't always going to line up with emotional and mental capacity. And so that's okay. I'm not really like for or against the age gap. But I did want to say thank you so much for having me. This has been unexpectedly a great time. Like I guess I kind of had these preconceived notions just based on the shorts and the videos, but it's been a really great time. So I just really appreciate the invitation and the welcome.
I appreciate you
so
too,
hold on,
man.
Patty. So you enjoyed your time?
I did.
Got your ass.
That's just
Thank
a
you.
funny, so you get clipped for something good, you know. It's
Yeah,
like you saw a clip, so it's for something
Thank you
good.
very much, Amanda. I appreciate you. And if you need anything from us, just let us know, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And even though Little Black Book is mad at me, when I get rich and famous, I'll take him with it. Theo and Little Black Book are going to Afro Nation with me when I get rich. Okay, there's a promise.
We'll buy him a night. We'll buy him a nightclub. He can only.
Yeah, we're going to go to Afro
dance
Nation
parties
together. I'm going to show how I am a way better dancer than the Little Black Book. I'm going to embarrass him in front of his family and friends. AVG, thank you very much for being here too. Final thoughts on this age gap, and we'll read the super chats afterwards. You're muted. And thank you for the membership. Somebody offered you a membership on your side. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
I'm
Whoever you
monetized.
were.
Yeah, so I see age gap relationships in 2 points. The first is obviously the typical feminism argument, right? The prefrontal cortex is informed until the age of 25. That's bullshit. It's been debunked. Specifically, McGill University debunked it in a study that they did semi-recently. The secondary component is at what age exactly does the negative adversity that somebody has acquired negate something that could be attributed to lack of experience? We see this with women who have excessive baggage, right? They reach the age of 30, they have, a couple of babies from different fathers, or maybe they've had a failed marriage or engagement. Not all adversity or experience is good. And this is no more true than ever it has been in 2026. And so what I would say to someone who would say, well, the 21-year-old, she's not as experienced in life, I'd be like, well, is the experience that she's going to get between 21 and 30 really good for her? Is it? Think about that.
He won't.
He won't.
Nobody wants to think anymore. That's crazy.
Oh, sus Livy.
Friends, very disrespectful of you, Ali, to ignore a question. It was not a rhetorical question. You needed to answer that. She did what you did. She asked a question to the crowd, and everybody was.
Oh, you did? Oh, AVG, can you ask that one more time? I thought that was really. I thought it was okay. What's the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so taking the prefrontal cortex argument aside, because it's been debunked scientifically, in terms of the experience argument, right? A 21-year-old woman does not have a lot of experience. I would say to you, I would say, is all actual experience good, right? Is the experience of that 21-year-old woman and she's going to obtain between now and 30 really going to make her a better wife, make her a better woman, even make her happier? And I would submit that the answer is necessarily probably not.
Probably not.
That's what that's why we said that the woman should get out the game as early as possible, because the longer she stays in it, the older she gets, the more she'll tell you she's traumatized, the more she'll tell you she needs to heal, and the more she has issues pair bonding. And so that's why it's another thing too that's more critical, and I'm sure you'll say the same thing, Little Black Book. When people have the experience with each other and two people are claiming to like each other, they shouldn't bring in all the negative experiences they had with people. They should learn from it, and they should treat it as a fresh start and let this person be innocent till proven guilty, right? But now we're getting to a place where the men have to prove themselves, and it's understandable, and he has to get himself from a place where he's compared to all the other men. But the woman never has to compare herself, but she gets to hold on to the past experiences of men, that a man has to dig himself out of that hole instead of having a fresh experience with each other, especially, again, the women, because the men don't hold on to the grudges, the men don't hold on to the trauma, and the men don't hold on to the experiences as well, too.
That's hilarious. Sorry.
Hey, can you tell me the name of the guy that says he's still healing and has to go to church and get baptized for having experiences with women?
2 or 3 of my ex-boyfriends.
What did you do to them, Ghosty?
Oh no!
What did you do to them, Ghosty?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
They tried everything they could. You're just not good enough.
Hey,
Sorry.
Ghosty, why do your ex-boyfriends all need therapy and healing and all that? What's going on?
No, I'm saying when I started dating them, they held on to a lot of shit that their ex-girlfriends did, and then automatically thought that I was going to do those things to him too. So
And did you do them? And did you do that?
No, absolutely not.
So everybody good. You just wrote the manifesto.
But I mean, I was still getting accused and all the time, and they were paranoid and all this shit. I'm just saying, it's funny. It's just funny to say that men don't hold on to grudges.
Your exes were accusing you of things that their exes did, not something that you were doing in the relationship.
Yes, they were suspicious that I was doing the same things their exes did because they were still hurt. They didn't heal from their past relationships.
Hold on. I ain't gonna say. Oh, never mind. I'm gonna leave that alone. In
my opinion, that makes sense in my opinion, that makes sense if their woman actually put them through hell. See what I'm saying? I just think I wouldn't do an absolute. I would say that men have better reaction to war than women.
No,
like when men and women go through shit and they get the scars and they get the burns and they get old and get limp, I think at the end of it, you can forge a great general, a great warrior, somebody that learned from war. Even though there's some men that have PTSD, I think most women are going to become casualties of war. Either to things that happen to relationships, or to actually getting so much pain that they become a shell of themselves when they actually go through it.
Ghosty, maybe Ghosty might not be the person that was saying that one of her exes or some of her exes were the men that didn't care about what she did. They weren't insecure about the things she did. That wasn't her.
No, I don't.
Was that you? That wasn't you, Ghosty, that said that the guys you did? Because we were talking about how men could be insecure, and you were saying your exes didn't demonstrate that type of behavior. They trusted you with the things that you were doing. That wasn't your exes, or one of your exes that you were dating a guy and he trusted you, like he wasn't insecure about the things you did.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you asking me?
Yeah.
So I was answering a comment on my stream. So
weren't a guy or the exes you did? I thought I could have sworn I don't know. I thought it was you that were dealing with a guy that didn't have insecurities. Like he trusted you with things. Like he didn't question you. I thought that wasn't you.
My current boyfriend.
There's the current.
Oh, that's the current boyfriend. Okay,
Yeah,
the current one.
my current
Okay.
boyfriend's amazing. I literally have no problems with him.
Okay. Okay.
But like we both had
I got
to
a
heal.
good memory. I got a good
He
memory.
he's had abusive girlfriends in the past. I've had abusive boyfriends in the past. But both of us, when we got together, we both healed from those, and we weren't expecting. We got over our trust issues, right? And yeah.
That's actually pretty good, friends. I
that's
appreciate you,
dope.
AVG, Ghosty, and Little Black Book. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much for giving
Hey,
your
thank
time.
you so much, Black Book.
Hey, Black Book, I'm going to start to go
Apologies for Fatty, man. It's just, hey, man.
Yes, sir.
You know,
No worked out, man. It's all good.
hey, Fatty, don't let it happen again.
Yes, I'm 2 hours away. I'm like, hey, when Dre goes to London, I'll pay him. I'll pay him a visit, man.
I don't know I don't know how they do it in Portugal, but we don't do it like that. Oh, and then my hand in London. Sorry.
Hey, I'll take him to a Brazilian restaurant next to that I used to go when I go to London. He's going to forgive me. Okay, appreciate you, Little Black
It's
Book.
forgiven already. Don't worry, it's forgiven.
Now, hey man,
No
I
beef.
need to pay reparations to this
And,
man.
and give us a little Black Book. We like you, man. We want you to come over here and build with us. Give us grace, man. You know we gonna bump heads every now and then. Somebody gonna interject, but you know we bring you here because we like you.
That's fair. No, that's fair. Grace can be given. I need to also be graceful. I have to also be aware. So
No,
I
you can't
appreciate
be.
the
All right,
lesson as
don't
well.
let your don't let the little black books watch. Don't let the little black book watchers. Yeah, don't be letting the little black book people watching, and you ain't showing that grace.
Hey, AVG, this man is hitting me with Bible verses and shit. That's fucked up.
Is he a Protestant?
Yeah, I have no idea, but he says the forgiveness and grace needed. Then I'm like,
And sometimes he forgets the religion altogether. The other day he told Fatty, "Listen, Fatty, God forgives. I don't."
Damn, that I heard that too.
He's like, I was like, God dang.
Friends, I appreciate y'all. Now get the hell out of our house. I appreciate y'all, friends. I see you later.
This is Sparta!
Ali, I really need this AC going immediately, man. I am. Ooh, and it's 2:20 a.m. I can do nothing while the sun is up because good show, man. Good show. Good show.
Great,
good
hey,
show.
great show, man.
Good show.
Great
Appreciate
show.
that. Player one did a couple of things to show to the fellas, but I couldn't show them. I appreciate you, Mr. Brian, and thank you very much. He says showing support for the Untouchable Empire. He sent us 2 of these. And friends, we need, if I'm not mistaken, 122. We need $78. Any hero, please. $78 to get to the goals. Fatty tomorrow is going to a concert. He's going to a concert.
And some